Hey, what's up, guys? I can't believe just realizing this. It has been 3 weeks. 3 weeks since this video I've launched and I've not reacted to it. And obviously, I have, I have permission to react to this. As you can see, I, I have permission. So you can't say that I don't have permission to react to this. I have permission. So let's get into it. What this video is part 3 of ShaMoo's video on Tectone's career. And this is the part 3, the trilogy. Tectone's career ended, court case. Let's get into it. It has been a long time, and I should have been covering this a long time ago, but I have been so busy, man. So very busy with actual content creation that I have not enough time to do reaction content. So I do apologize that this is late, but we will be getting right into it.
It's been 8 months since my first video on Tectone covering his tumultuous and allegation-ridden relationships. Since then, a judge ruled in civil court that based on evidence and testimony presented, that Tectone likely raped,
a familial obligated rapist,
stalked,
I'm stalking you,
and was a self-admitted oofy-doofy schizophrenic.
I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun. I'm a very dangerous man.
If you are
You can't be saying that online. You can't. And he wonders why he lost the court case. You can't be saying stuff like that online.
unaware and want to know more on the timeline of Tectone's history, be sure to check out my first video on him. However, briefly, in February of 2024, Tectone's ex-wife Freem was going to come out with SA allegations against him. Lawsuits in courtfare would then lock these allegations under an NDA. However, later, Tectone's ex-girlfriend Pink Chu would also make allegations, which this time became public. These allegations Pink made,
and this is a part that really, worries me. When you have multiple people, multiple women coming out and say the exact same thing about one specific guy, maybe it's not the woman and maybe it's the guy that is actually doing something a bit suspicious.
Would ignite a long battle between the two, which would end up in civil court, where a judge found that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Tectone committed SA and stalking. Pink Chu would file for a protection order on August 21st of 2025, just 1 month after my second video, and it wasn't until January 23rd of 2026 that a trial would take place with everything on the line.
They go after my family.
You're using the Law and Order music, man. You're dangerous, man.
They call me a generational rapist in front of 1.2 million people.
Maybe because you are,
It's been a wild ride because I'm telling you, when I get exonerated, I'm going nuclear. I did everything.
He did get exonerated, right? Oh boy.
For you. I helped you with everything. I fixed everything for you.
This is manipulative behavior. Saying that because I helped you, because I sheltered you, because I do this for you, so you owe me. It's really a manipulative way to look at life.
I was there for you like nobody else was there for you in your whole life. I fantasize about getting the
bro. I hope this is not real. Because it looked like Pink Chu wants to do something with that.
report that says your case has been indefinitely suspended.
They call him a generational rapist? Yes.
Be sure to like the video and leave a comment, as it helps with the algorithm.
Yeah, I like the video. And I already left the comment a few weeks ago. Not because I leave the comment mean that I watched the video. I didn't watch the video at all. I was saving it for the reaction. And I don't know what the hell happened or how this 3 weeks just fly by like that. But like, my God.
If you want to support, you can do so with the links on screen now. This video will look to illustrate why Tectone lost his case in such a spectacular fashion. By considering testimony, court and medical records, along with greater contextual evidence from what Tectone has said on his streams, it should become quite clear why Tectone lost his case. Beyond the courtroom, we will also look at how Tectone has leveraged his relationships with other online creators to defend him, issue talking points, and in some cases directly attack Pink, who had just been given a 10-year protection order against him.
And let me speak about this a little bit. I might have to do that video soon or something like that. But the thing about this is that Tectone, it's pretty obvious for anybody that can think with their brains to figure out that Tectone worked with this guy behind the scenes, giving him information behind the scenes, which is something that he should not be doing. in order for him to formulate his video. And Tectone has been talking to people behind the scenes like Legal Mindset and St. Tontus, giving them information to spread the narrative that he wants them to spread. Now, it's not for everybody. That the small content creators that are going to be on Tectone's side, they're not getting information like that feed to them. It's just the big content creators, the Nicholas Light, the St. Tontus, the Legal Mindset, the This Guy, and others, a few others, a minority like Noxtarku or something like that, that VTuber that deal with children. So yeah, how should I put this? This is also another part of him violating his protective order. He has been non-stop violating his protective order, and just to clarify, mentioning Pink Chu not by name but by referencing her is also breaking the protective order, because you're incentivizing harassment throughout your majority fan base, your large fan base. Your large fan base will take your word serious, and they will use what you say to attack the person in their DMs, in their Twitter, in their social media. It has always happened. We have seen this countless times on this channel, where we talk about the situation with Hex Juice, where Hex Juice has to even quit content creation because she couldn't take it anymore, the harassment that she was getting from Tectone's audience. We've seen it again with St. Tontus and Maggie, where Maggie had to completely quit Buddha and Waste content because she was really afraid, and she was just getting bombarded by St. Tontus followers that were harassing her, and these stuff are not good. Anytime I make my videos on anybody that I'm talking about out here on YouTube, I never ever tell you guys to go out of your way to attack these people, these content creators. Let me do that. I'm the one that should be doing the rage baited. I don't want you to go out and fight my battles for me or anything like that. I don't want to bring any harassment to any content creators or anything like that either. And I always stay against it, and I only ever argue on the topic at hand and not just random things. And you never see me go out and go after somebody's looks or their career, what they do or anything like that, unless they decide to use that on me first, then I'll use that against them. But you never see me directly use that for people. So yeah, Tectone definitely broke the protective order in order to give these people the content they need to spin the narrative, the story in the way they want it. And Tectone's first case really helped him out drastically, because the thing is, with the absence of information out there, people are going to be naturally leaning forward to or believe in the bigger content creator in the situation, where his court case with his ex-wife being something that nobody can talk about. Nobody in the public is going to know the full truth and know how disgusting Tectone is or Freem is in that case. And you have to think about it. Who does that benefit the most? Does it benefit Freem the most, or does it benefit Tectone the most? Obviously, it benefits Tectone the most, because he has more to lose than Freem.
Tectone could be seen as a use case for what not to do when accused of SA. In court, Pink had medical records of a lip injury sustained during the alleged assault. So what does Tectone do?
Let's look at it. Date of incident, May 28, 29, 2004. Location of incident, blank. Good. Good content creation by making sure to blank out these things. I was lying in bed. Okay, we already go over this already in my videos, so we already know exactly what this is. We don't need to
talks about and confirms the injury on stream.
You know what you can't do to women who have lip filler? You can't their mouth, because it'll rupture the lip filler.
More on this.
And you kind of wonder, how does Tectone know this information? You really have to wonder, how does he know this information?
Later. Tectone was represented by Jeffrey Puryear, who has experience in cases involving SA and abuse allegations. On his front page, the one case that is listed in detail is a summary of a man he represented who was accused of abusing his stepdaughter. After Mr. Puryear represented him, he was found not guilty. Pink Chu was represented by Michelle L. Locke, who specializes in divorce, custody, and protective order applications. In Tectone's lawyer's opening statement, in just the second paragraph, it contradicts what Tectone has lied to his audience in the past about. It states, quote, It's true that the applicant, or Pink, never paid rent, end quote. However, during Tectone's original response to these allegations, he claimed the exact opposite.
You say that I would say, do your job, you don't pay rent. This is
Which is true.
factually untrue. Here is you paying rent.
And you know the thing about that? That was not rent. That was for bots. Look how much bots Tectone bought. August 1st, July. It was July. I can barely see it, but like that's a lot.
Not one time, but multiple times. That is you paying rent.
He has also claimed the opposite of this as well.
Which we now found out that was a bot. Thank you, Miss Skiff. You have done fantastic work. You evil son of a.
It's Pink's responsibility. And the reality is that she's in my house role playing as a goth Hooters orderer, waitress. And honestly, it's really annoying because the reality is she doesn't pay rent. The reality is she doesn't pay rent.
What Tectone was trying to sleight of hand here is that Pink originally
Yeah, that's him basically slipping. And that's the thing when you're online. That's why I always try to be as honest as possible, because it's very difficult to be a liar online 24/7 every single time, because some way, somehow you will slip up. And that is Tectone slipping up right there and basically telling the truth again.
was not paying rent. Allegedly, when Tectone made it Pink's job to perform oral acts on him in lieu of paying rent, she asserted that she wanted to
Yeah.
pay rent. So Tectone's lawyer's opening statement, totally contradicting his own public response to SA allegations, is a good sign as to how this trial would go. Pink would take the stand and flesh out some of the allegations being made and the start of their relationship. Quote, he told me, he said, I could change your life. I'm in OTK. I have connections. You should just move.
That kind of talk is the blueprint for every single Hollywood story where they get the M word with the less than at the end. It's literally every single dark story when it comes down to the entertainment scene, that I can get you somewhere. You will have to do this in order for me to give you the reach and stuff. And this is exactly what happened. This is a manipulative relationship, 100%.
Move in with me. You won't have to pay rent, and I will help you, and you can try to help me. Here's some vitamins, and was like, I'll change your life, and we'll get you better, and kept telling me that he's going to change my career. In regards to OTK, the org Tectone was a part of, she stated, they have pretty much control in Austin to make and break your career. Whether you get invited to collaborations or get sponsorships, they also have control, and the owners own one of the largest management companies that I was also a part of at the time, or he got me into, because that was another promise he said he could do.
Damn.
According to Pink, originally she was doing graphic design and thumbnails for Tectone to compensate for paying rent, but this would become warped over time. Quote, I just would help him with some thumbnails, so in my assumption, it would just be helping him because I do graphic design and media, so I make his thumbnails and edited some things for him. It went from make this thumbnail for me to he kept telling me to suck his and at the time, he would tell me, do your job, you don't pay rent. And those are the words that I clearly remember.
That doesn't sound good, bro. It still doesn't sound good. All this time has passed, it still doesn't sound good.
Okay, and how soon after you moved in did those issues begin? Pretty right away. I think once he had said that in particular, I felt disgusted, and then told him I wanted to pay rent. And that's why soon after, towards the end, I believe it was the end of February, I started paying rent. I gave him $1,000. I said I didn't like that dynamic. It made me feel disgusting. What Pink Chu alleges in her testimony paints Tectone as a very manipulative person.
Because he 100% is a very manipulative person. I've always said this in my videos, like, bro, I feel the way Tectone act online is the exact same way he is IRL. Like this good, nice guy that he always say, I'm a nice guy. Anybody that come out online and say, guys, I'm a nice guy, look at all these things that I've done for somebody, that doesn't scream to me a nice guy. It screams to me somebody that's a manipulator and is trying to maintain his image online And what's hidden behind the shadows is much darker and more gruesome than you can ever imagine. And that's basically what's happening here.
Whenever I had complaints about how he was treating me or anything, he said because I'm autistic, my version of reality is not like normal people, and that he would have to explain to me what was really going on. And you all
Cue the whiteboard.
had a journal, is that right? I kind of just started one. He had me write a list of things he said that were wrong with me that he said I needed to give my psychiatrist. And then he later graded me on the things he thinks I need to work on.
What's really fun about this camera, I knew it would work great, right? But Pink is stupid, and she has this thing called social anxiety.
And what did he say that you needed to go see a psychiatrist for? That my memory recollection was incorrect. I believe I wrote it in my journal. I can't remember by specific.
I can't tell you how many times I go into something with good faith. The other person doesn't have proper memory recollection, gets confused about what they're doing, the stress of the situation gets to them, and then they say, oh, this is not the word, but they'll say things like, oh, you gaslighted me, you manipulated me, you're strawmanning me.
He said I was immature, that my memory recollection was incorrect, that my phrasing, he would say things and then I would phrase it incorrectly, that I lacked communication skills, that I was depressed and dooming a lot, that I wasn't a positive person, I didn't take accountability, I was not independent enough, I was paranoid, and I had no emotional control. He would continue by claiming Tectone would have her write a list on paper of what she needed to tell her doctors during her online appointments.
And then I pull.
And this is recent too. This is a very recent clip. Damn. Oh Jesus. Oh my God. Yeah, bro. Tectone does that. It's not only from Pink True that has faced this issue with Tectone, where Tectone argues something and then he does it. I even get frustrated listening to it over for the second time. The situation between him and Pink True is him and Hex Truth when they argued. Like Tectone, this straw man, goalpost shifting argument is so, it leads nowhere. He just always shift the goalpost, always talk about something else, and always try to gaslight in you. So that's why she'll probably end up being confused, because I don't think she really was interested in having an argument, and this guy is just going to be here deflecting everything. And that can get very frustrating to deal with a person like that.
Pull out the whiteboard.
Another insane thing we got out of this trial was that Tectone, when he had
Wait.
continue by claiming Tectone would have her write a list on paper of what she needed to tell her doctors during her online appointments.
And then I pull out the whiteboard.
Another insane thing we got out of this trial was that Tectone, when he had a disagreement with Pink, or when he wanted to explain why her memory recollection of events was incorrect, would actually sit Pink down at a whiteboard and John Madden gameplay why she can't remember events clearly, or why he's correct.
I covered this from the very beginning, and you guys say, no, I'm not knowing what I'm talking about. Yes, he pulled out the whiteboard.
Correct on something they disagree about. Pink's lawyer says to Tectone, you actually would sit her down with a whiteboard and go over everything to convince her she was wrong, right?
I'm failing to see how these two connect, but I don't understand in what regard. We have talked with a whiteboard before.
Yeah, and you would use a whiteboard to show her that she was wrong in whatever position she was taking, that you all were disagreeing on, correct?
Oh, if we were to have an argument, then we weren't seeing eye to eye. Visual aid really helped her as well as her to me. This was another very frequent commonality where I would have to sit down with her and I would tell you exactly what I did. I would take her, I would run the shower in the bathroom because it would be nice background noise, because I know autistic people get overwhelmed from...
Damn, bro. Damn. Man, just calling her artistic like that.
noises. So I would put that on to calm her. I would sit her on the floor and we would sit there for hours as I would bring out the coloring board and I would draw out.
I should not be laughing. It's I don't want to. I'm not laughing at what happened to Pink Truth. I'm laughing of how insane this guy is, because you can't be doing that, bro.
The issues that you were experiencing, and I would help you through each and every single one of your problems. And I did this from start to finish. Every time you had an issue.
And do you
Really?
Know what coercive control is?
Yes.
And you told her that she had memory problems, right?
I believe we have had discussions on her memory not being, as sharp as attack. Sure, I'm sure we've had conversations.
You see, you're missing a good context here, ShaMoo. Is that you have to remember when Tectone was talking at the mic, he was talking like this. He wasn't talking like his normal strong manly voice. He was talking like this. He was barely answering. He was saying like, I believe we have a discussion on her memory not being well. As sharp as attack. Sure, I'm sure we've had conversation about memories. That's how Tectone was talking on at the court case.
About memories.
Besides game planning like John Madden with Pink on how she couldn't remember anything, Tectone was also guiding her as to what medication she should be taking. Pink's lawyer asked Tectone, did you tell her what things to tell her therapist to get prescribed certain medications?
I definitely tried to help her understand, try to help her make sense of what's going on in her head. She wanted to tell me this is kind of happening to me, and I'd say, well, maybe it's this. I definitely tried to help her in her journey to therapy and medication.
Pink's lawyer paints this picture to the court, this controlling guy using whiteboards for hours to explain to his girlfriend why she can't remember anything correctly, what pill she should be on.
Yeah, the entire thing is very insane for... I've never done that. I've never sat someone down and tell them that, this is what they're feeling, this is what you need to fix it, yada, yada, yada. Never. Not like that, bro.
And what to tell doctors to get said pills. Directly after this, Pink's lawyer passes the witness, and Tectone's rep has nothing to say or add on to any of this. My takeaway, and I'm not a lawyer obviously, but Tectone's team must think that getting any further clarity on these topics will only make their client look worse. Why
It would absolutely, 100%.
else wouldn't there be any pushback or further questioning? You really have to admire how poor...
I don't think Tectone's lawyers are stupid. I can give you that. I can guarantee that they're really, really good. The problem is, not because you have money means that you're necessarily smart. You see this with Saint Tontas, you see this with Tectone. They're not really the smartest apples in the room. So they always tend to make mistakes. And the biggest tool that they have that makes the mistake is their mouth. Their mouth and their action. Those two key fundamental things is what normally land them in a lot of stuff. And, well, that's why Tectone lost his case. This is why Mr. Pokey's going to win his case against St. Tontas. It's not going to change anything. They are literally ants compared to the people that have the money that can get away with stuff like this. The people that can get away with stuff like this have millions of billions of dollars. Like, these guys, Saint Tontas and Tectone, are not above the law. So they will get clapped.
Really, Tectone has handled this situation, which would inevitably make him look awful in court. At one point, Pink filed a cease and desist against him. So even after going to the police, he still would not stop harassing me, and I had an attorney send him a cease and desist, telling him I had gone to the police and he needs to leave me alone. Did that stop him? No. In fact, he went public and laughed about it, said, she sent me a cease and desist for defaming her, but I'm going to keep defaming her.
I got sent a cease and desist about 3 months ago saying I need to stop defaming my ex, and then I continue saying the exact same shit that I've been saying. And the only thing that I got for Pink was a cease and desist because Pink sent me a fucking cease and desist to stop defaming her 8 months ago. And I've been going live and saying the same shit that I've been saying for 8 months. That's okay.
That's not good. Because the narrative that Tectone wanted to push to everybody was that how, like, she just up and decided to start talking about the things that was happening to her. When Tectone was keep mentioning her to the point that she had to send a cease and desist. And we are here. So, really funny how that works.
More and more. It gets worse every day for everybody else besides me. She even has a cease and desist on me, right? She sent me a cease and desist. And I've never stopped.
This is what I'm talking about. His mouth just continues to get him in problem. And it's the worst thing because his mouth is what he used to make money. So it's at the same time it is making him money. It's at the same time landing him in some deep. You can fill in the blank.
talking a single time. All women with big tits, she fucking bought those too. So like, it's just fucking plastic, brother. Like what? Like this is a 30-year-old woman saying this shit. Fucking, I had to fucking take care of her ass after surgery. All because the bitch couldn't just say things didn't work out. She got guys. To give you even more context, I'm currently on a cease and desist by her.
Tectone would make so many subtweets and threats towards Pink that she put together an archive and list of these occurrences, which is almost 200 pages long.
Damn. 200 pages long, bro. Damn. Now, there's too much evidence against Tectone, man.
Pink's lawyer asked, and what kind of threats was he making online? I have a timeline of everything, but it was mainly, I'm going to sue you. He's also made threats that he's going to ruin me, that everybody was going to know the truth, that he was coming after me, that there were explicit material that he shared with multiple people, and that he will post them online if I don't retract statements.
Let's read that again. But it was mainly, I'm going to sue you. He's also made threats that he is going to ruin me. I've seen some of those. That everybody was going to know the truth. That he was coming after me. That also that there were explicit material that he shared with multiple people. And that he will post them online if I don't retract statements. That is a threat. As the thing, there was an incident with Braxophone. If you don't know who Braxophone is a content creator that was associated with Tectone. And I think Tectone gave Braxophone his version of the story. So obviously he's going to side with Tectone because he's hearing from Tectone that Pink True is just a crazy ex that, want to ruin his career. And once he read the full transcript, which is what ShaMoo is reading right now, he basically cut his ties with him. And you have to wonder why that is. Like, obviously, there are going to be people like Saint Tontus and others that are going to be sticking towards Tectone's side still. Because they are just doing YouTube for the money and the fame. And an easy way to get money and fame is to suck up to the big guy, which is Tectone. I will never do that. I'm not like that. I value my content and telling the truth and only the truth. And I have seen, because I was a subscriber to Tectone before in the past, I know him very well, that he's a liar. If I was an idiot and followed everything that Tectone said, and if Tectone say he doesn't like this game, I should not play it. I say, I'm just gonna believe what Tectone says and just not play it. I have a brain for myself, and the sooner the better that people that are following that need to grow up can think for themselves and look at it and see that, this what you're having as a problem, I'm not having as a problem. I don't need to follow you in what you have to say. The more and more I watch this guy's content, I realize that the things that he's saying doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. And then I saw what happened to Hex Juice. That was terrible. That was very, very terrible. I saw what happened to M-Tash. I stopped following Tectone after what happened to M-Tash because that is just disgusting. And I saw what happened to Mr. Pokey. It's clearly obvious that this guy has the, how should I say it, the yes man syndrome, where he doesn't want friends, he wants yes man. He wants people around him that's just gonna follow everything that he says, and if you disagree with him, we are no longer friends. That's what Tectone wants. If you're a real friend, will look at you and tell you when you screw up. The fake friend is the one that is gonna see you, know that you're doing wrong, and then say, don't worry, King, it wasn't you, it was her, it was the system. Everybody that have at least two brain cells or more understand that Tectone was rightfully guilty in this case. And all the people that you see out there defending Tectone, they're either lying out of their teeth or they're just trying to get the bag. And it's as simple as that.
And it's just, it is almost 200 pages of it.
And don't worry, guys. I got something cooking for her. And man, Pink, you are going to love that. And now
you know what? That's kind of funny because in the court, at the end of the court case, he said the reason he just didn't have enough time to prepare. So if this was from July 2025 and you say don't have enough time to prepare, then that doesn't make any sense. I believe, I'm not going to look it up. I had the files, but I believe it started, the entire case started around August or September of last year, 2025. So this was before that, which he said that he was prepared already. So how are you not prepared, Mr. Tectone? Really? Like, the difference, I believe, is that I'm sure Tectone's lawyers advised him to stop tweeting about his ex-girlfriend and stop opening his mouth about her and mentioning her on stream. But I believe that Tectone is just so full of himself in his head that he believes that he can say it without any repercussions, which is why he's continuing to say and mention Pink Truths against the protective order on Rumble because he feels like he can get away with it because he's on Rumble. You cannot escape from the law by going to Rumble and mentioning Pink Truth. And by mentioning Pink Truth to your hundreds of thousands of followers, your millions of viewers, you're literally incentivizing people to harass Pink Truth, which is, again, breaking the protective order. But, you know, who am I to tell? Because Tectone believe that everybody out here now is like a lawyer and stuff like that, and we know the law better than he does, which we do because we're not out here calling the law a vibe check.
you've built your entire image on lies. And do you know what's going to happen when those lies crumble, Pink? You lose everything because you're a liar. Yep. And that's what's going to happen. Why y'all think Pink don't talk about me no more? Because she...
Bro, I just explained it, but I'll explain it again. The reason why Pink doesn't talk about you that time is because her lawyer lightly told her to don't mention anything about the case because anything you use will be used against you. She actually took her lawyer's advice. You didn't.
No, she's because she knows she's.
And also, let me clarify this. The reason why Tectone was going so hard after her, I mentioned in a video way back, I don't remember which one it was. The reason why he was going so hard after Pink Truth is because he wanted to scare her into not going through with this. It was just a scare tactic. But he never anticipated that she would follow through with it. That's what happened. Again, another manipulative behavior.
Yeah. All she'll do is pin old tweets. She won't tweet anything new because she knows she's Yep. Won't say which is weird because before she had all this to talk about. But man, Pink, if only you knew the shit that
you would if somebody told you that this guy already went through a case with his ex-wife and lost, you'd have never believe it.
I knew, but don't worry. You'll find out. And what's crazy is, Pink, and I'm gonna let you know, I would still forgive you if you apologized. Publicly, of course. That's what's crazy. But you won't, and it's gonna be great to see what happens. You had to say, nah, he did all that. No, I didn't. Shut the f up. Because your ass always gotta cry about some bullshit. They're gonna say, well, he my family, he bombed my house, he set fire to a 7-Eleven, and he hit me. It's like, just fucking shut up.
Even after Pink filed a protection order in August 2025, Tectone was still making threats on his Twitter.
They are going to hate.
See, August 2025, I was right. They're gonna hate what I found out today. Your loss. This was brought up in court, actually.
What I found today. Your loss is now even more inevitable. Now I wait, winky face.
Attached to this tweet were decapitated heads of an anime. Okay.
Upper 6. I don't remember their full name. Daki and I don't remember his name.
And when you see these messages that he posts like this, how did you interpret them? Like, how did it make you feel? Like, he's coming after me. Okay. Has he made threats about going nuclear when the legal situation between you and he ends?
This is fun. I'm glad that the last video was talking about the nuclear, the nuclear issue. Okay, he has made threats about going nuclear when the legal situation between you and he ends. That's not good. Yes, and I believe it was the time he was like showing his guns and things. That's not good.
Yes, I believe it was at the time he was showing his guns and things.
And pretty much all of my homies, and myself included, are just like, all right, because I'm telling you, when I get exonerated, I'm going nuclear. I'm just being.
That's not good. That's not good. And Tectone was spreading lies and misinformation in my last video, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, in my last video, I was talking about how that, you know, the court didn't like that he was putting nuclears in his thumbnail. It wasn't about that. It was a lie. This is what it was in reference to. And the clip is here.
Straight up. I am.
Thank you, Sam.
Counting the days, bro. I fantasize.
Okay, and in fact, he's indicated on social media that he's schizophrenic and is strapping, referring to weapons. Is that correct? Yes.
Dead people can talk. That's what people will learn very soon. I know everything, and that's why they fear me, and that's why they try to discredit me. And once again, guys, I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun. I'm a very dangerous man.
One of
Oh my God. That cannot be seen any other way than a threat. What he's basically implying is that he can go up, do something about you, and then say that it was his schizophrenia, so it doesn't really count, and try to get off by basically claiming that he's not mentally well. This is why you lose, Tectone.
my suspicions.
Like, bro, Tectone could have, Pinkchu could have easily put this as a criminal court case and won. If she wanted him to go to jail right away, she could have. With the amount of damning evidence against Tectone, she could have absolutely. And that's the problem. I don't think she really wanted Tectone to go to jail. She just wanted Tectone to not follow up on his threats against her.
Tectone was that after being accused of abuse by his ex, he began to take on a personality as someone in the far right in order to circumvent the audience he lost because of his controversies. In other words, grifting. And you can definitely see this change in his content as well.
Some of my best friends are trans, because they have not felt
Oh my God.
the same pain that certain content creators have felt in this community. I mean, there's been racism, sexism, racial slur towards Asian people, which is something that I do not tolerate whatsoever. I do not tolerate hate speech whatsoever. I do not tolerate anything derogatory towards any specific race, gender, anything whatsoever. To be honest, I think I'm a pretty progressive guy. People are trying to kill white people. They absolutely are. I'm going to say something that a lot of people don't like when I say this. I believe that white lives matter. I do.
Tectone in court was complaining
The grifter, man. Always being on the side that's right. Never really have an opinion for your own. The opinion that you have is the morally correct opinion. Absolute dog shit content creation slop, bro. Damn. I hate that he's on the right wing, man. Go back to the left, man. What the hell are you doing over here? Because the right wing is about that. He's an extreme. It's not, how would I put it? Like, in politics, you have the right wing and the left wing, the actual right wing and the left wing, and then you have the extreme right and the extreme left. Now, I wasn't paying attention to most of Tectone's extreme his left content to realize that if he's like an extreme leftist or like an actual left leaning person. But I can tell you for certain that he's like on the extreme right. Like he's trying so hard to uh paint himself like a right winger. I don't know what to feel about that, man. Really, there's a lot of things that I don't like. I don't like the incident that happened with the. I really don't like the train incident with the guy and the girl, the Russian girl. If you know what I'm talking about, I really don't like it. I saw the full video. I was contemplating on covering it, but like it was it's not good to watch. I don't want to go too much in politics, man, but I just want a world where we can live at peace. And I do believe we're going towards that very soon. Technology and AI is going to force that issue upon us regardless, because like AI is going to become so good that we might hopefully in the next 10 years, if Trump doesn't blow up the world, we can come to an area where we are no longer like from the US, from China, and we're now like from Earth, and we can like go out in space and stuff like that and start exploring other worlds, colonizing Mars, the moon, and becoming a spacefaring nation. It's a wild dream that I do have, but I do believe that it's very possible that we can have significant breakthrough with technology and stuff like that, because of AI.
About the amount of hate he got online and trying to attribute it to Pink. So when Pink's lawyer brought up his sudden political change of heart, this is what Tectone had to say.
So if I can explain on that, when all of these things came out, I lost pretty much a large chunk.
No, you're making it sound too good, man. You have to say it like this. So if I can explain on that, when all of these things came out, I lost pretty much a large chunk of my audience, and content creation, content creators kind of have to pivot what they're doing to other topics once they lose access to a demographic. uh um uh Also, originally I never really covered anything political or talking about, white privilege. But yeah, I would say my content definitely had find a new route on how to be successful online. So unfortunately, I had to make a little bit more extreme comments to be successful in the career that I am now. So it's unfortunately he has to switch to the right. So he's definitely left to begin with. You piece of shit.
Of my audience, and content creators kind of have to pivot what they're doing to other topics once they lose access to a demographic. So originally, I never really covered anything political or talking about, white privilege. But yeah, I would say my content definitely had to find a new route on how to be successful online. And so unfortunately, I had to make a little bit more extreme comments to be successful in the career that I'm in now.
Tectone, politically speaking, is a total fraud. It's just further evidence that he is portraying a character to benefit himself. It's abundantly clear from him calling himself a progressive in earlier streams,
To be honest, I think I'm a pretty progressive guy.
to him admitting in open court that he is grifting.
But the thing we don't know is that, was that also just him trying to side on the trending side at the point? I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't even care about politics to begin with.
Some of my best friends are trans.
At one point in the trial, Pink retells the story of a time she went to a mutual friend and told her that Tectone was making her give him oral. Once Tectone found out, he freaked out and made her call that friend to find out what she knew and send text messages to Tectone for plausible deniability. I told her that
I think that person is Hextrus, because in Hextrus documents, she mentioned that she talked to Pink about the situation, and she didn't believe what she was hearing from Pink. Then she like talked to Tectone about it to confirm, and then Tectone like try to brought the situation around. That's not the case. I think it was Pink True. My bad. I think it was Hex Juice. That's my brain kicking off. She's the only one that I can think of that is like on that situation. I don't think it was Emerald. I really don't think it was Emerald. No, I don't think it was Emerald. I think it's like Pink True, because Pink True had a similar statement in that area from the video that we did cover in the entire document that Hex Juice dropped on Tectone. So I do believe it is her.
He would make me give him oral actions, and she freaked out. And I'm like, but it's all fine. It's not a big deal. And I got scared because I didn't know if I could trust her. He then, the next day, sat me in the office and sat me in a chair. And he's like, I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to step inside and out. And he stepped outside of the office and said, you're going to tell me everything you told her in detail, and I want to know if you're lying. And we're going to have her on the phone back and forth and find out all of the information. You're going to text me that you want to perform this oral action on me, or else I'm not going to trust you. Shortly after all of this is said in the courtroom, Pink's lawyer passes the witness, and they have absolutely nothing to say. They don't try to question her on this history of events whatsoever. Tectone takes the stand after, and the story is never commented on again. Shockingly, Tectone's team were the first to bring up the original DM from Pink, who immediately starts to recount a small portion of context in this incident. When she gives the full testimony of this incident later, there is no pushback from Tectone's lawyers, and they opt to not even bring
Well, this is what instructed me to do. Yes, told me I need to. Okay, so this is
it
the
up
story
once
essentially.
Tectone takes the stand. Ask yourselves, why wouldn't they push back on this? This is a huge claim by Pink, especially when this text Tectone's team brought forward was really the only substantial evidence that they even used in court. They aren't
Because it's 100% plausible that it's true. That is pretty obvious. But Tectone defenders will deny this to the end of time.
going to push back on Pink with this. Tectone isn't even going to say that it isn't true. Why? When Pink's allegations of SA went public, a main defense Tectone employed multiple times on Stream and X was that Pink was weaponizing SA against him because he had also been SA'd.
And to imply that I'm a rapist?
Yeah. Wait, you remember the video that I made recently about how I chose some whatever's cool bots and how to cry? This is how you pull off crying. This is top tier acting. This is how you pull off crying.
After I myself have been raped twice? It's just a little bit crazy, isn't it?
So it was interesting that on
That's some top tier acting, man.
the stand after being sworn in by his lawyer, the very first thing Tectone's team brought up was this incident, which was his sister trying to give him crabs. However, utilizing this when he is trying to persuade outside parties on his stream and X that he is innocent isn't very effective.
Yeah, you can't say you can't use a defense because it happened to you in the past. It's okay for people to understand that I end up doing it to somebody else. It shouldn't make what happened to you dictate what happens to others in the future. Like, it's your action. It's what you did. It's not something passed down.
Realistically, trauma tends to perpetuate trauma. There are entire academic and research studies done on this topic where early life abuse was significantly associated with many disorders, but also what Tectone is being accused of. Not that I am claiming in particular that this is a cycle, just that it's not a great defense for Tectone in the slightest. And if you were a cynic in regards to Techie, you may even call it manipulative to use it as a defense, how he has on the internet. It is shocking how bad Tectone is on the stand. He says, quote, "I'm not going to lie," 5 separate times throughout the trial.
It was pretty important to me because I am lazy. I'm not gonna lie. And I speed, I'm not gonna lie. What if I get her pregnant? And also, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not going to lie. I was, shortly after we broke up, interested in another girl. Pretty lazy guy in my life, I'm not gonna lie.
Tectone
It's funny how he's always having them like right after the other man. Right after he's done with Free Me, you have Pink. Right after he's done with Pink, you have Pink True. You have Sophia. Right after he finished doing what he needs to do with Sophia, and then we're here again a few months or so down the line, discussing how Tectone and Sophia fall apart and his brand new girlfriend. We're gonna be having this discussion again, and we're all here for it.
Several times goes on insane long tangents where he throws in information not even being asked by his own lawyer. For instance, his lawyer simply asks, when you broke up the first time.
Yeah.
This is what I said. Like, lawyers hate this. I was going to be a lawyer, but it was like so much years of my life, and I said screw it. But lawyers hate this. They don't like clients that talk too much, and this is the one extremely significant factor with Tectone and Saint Tontus and the downfall for their court cases, respectfully, is that they talk too much.
There was, I want to clarify, there was 3 times. Once, I believe Pink has forgotten.
Your lawyer didn't ask you to clarify.
About. There was one where Pink wanted me to try to have sex, and I swore to her that I would try, and I did, and it just didn't work. I was too afraid of committing vaginal sex. It's not a thing to take lightly. I'm not a guy that sleeps around. It's, what if I get her pregnant? And also, I'm not going to lie. The unfortunate reality is that I did have a fear of Virginia's.
Virginia's. God damn it. Fear of Virginia's. Oh my god, bro. That is very funny. That is very funny indeed.
It's still hard for me to look at Virginia's. I'm a straight
What the hell is a Virginia's?
man, but something about
Nah. You can't be straight and be scared of Virginia's. It doesn't work like that.
them just scares me. And so, when I lost my virginity, I had to even close my eyes just to kind of go through the motions.
I feel so sorry for the girl if they did it in life, because how pathetic must that have been for seeing him like closing his eyes. You know what? Let's get that image out of our heads.
Sorry, am I rambling? What was the exact question?
So the first time that you broke up?
Yes, okay, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, there was the one time where she didn't get...
John?
Yes?
Hold on.
Yes.
Imagine you're the judge. You are presiding over this protection order case, which includes multiple incidents of alleged assault. And then out of nowhere, not even prompted by the lawyer, the defendant goes off on a tirade about how he is terrified of laying pipe. Shortly after, a bizarre...
You know what? I actually think he was trying to pull one of his online tactics here, where he flood the court with information so that nobody can keep track of what he's saying. That only works online with your selective people that you choose to debate. Why not debate me? Try that shit with me. It will not work. You cannot try that stuff on people that get paid to do these things a lot of money too, where they're taking down everything that you're saying and they're keeping track of what they're doing. And also, fun fact, they have notepads too. Like the judges, they have notepads and they're looking into your case as you speak. So no matter all the fluff you do, they will not focus on all the fluff, all the unnecessary information. They will focus on the main topic. This is why Tectone lost, because all these fallacies that Tectone and Saint Tontus love to use in their debates does not work on the courts. It doesn't.
An unprompted rant about Tectone's fear of female anatomy. During a hearing for a protection order that includes SA, Tectone would again go off on a tangent in which he presents himself as a philanthropist. When did she move in?
Oh, really quick. She would frequently complain about her house, and I had already flown in my other buddy Lauro to stay with me for free because he was struggling.
Lakari. Oh my god. You know, I have a PC that I had to retire because, like, you know, it just couldn't do with Windows 11, and you know how they force Windows 11 and many people completely insane. They could have just make you do it. It shouldn't have done that. The thing is, the one good thing that came out of Windows 11 is that Windows 11 keep your notepad open, and because of that, Lakari got exposed, like trying to get his hand on the real stuff, the real LOL stuff. I rest my case.
And, you know, I don't like being alone, so I let him move in with me for free. And then Pink said that her house kind of sucked, and she didn't really have anything to do about it because she couldn't just move out because she couldn't afford it. And I said, hey, anything you need to make your life better, I'll do it. If you need money, I got you. Because there was this funny time she was in her house and she was very afraid because there was cockroaches. And so I came to my car and I speed. I'm not going to lie. You know, I've sped pretty bad. I went like 80 and like a 65. And I got pulled over that night, and I told the officer, you know, what the guy says, why are you speeding? And I say, well, officer, it was for a girl. This girl that I like, you know, she's got cockroaches. And he says, no problem, I get it, lets me off. Gives me like a warning, and then I go over there and I pick her up, and I bring her back to the house, and then I say,
The thing with liars is that they like to make the story interesting by saying some lies, so adding some wild stuff. It's very likely that no cops pull him over. He didn't say anything about cockroaches. He just went to the house because he wanted to make it sound entertaining. Because he's a content creator by art, so he's just on right now. He's still creating content, which is true. We are reacting to this content right now. So he was making content. He's a true content creator, true and true. Like, you're a real content creator. You're asleep when you're thinking about making content, man.
why don't you just move in?
Tectone, practically unprompted, goes off on a tirade that in my opinion just comes off as manipulative to the court. He sort of presents himself as a hero.
No, I don't think he was. The court is gonna look at him and say he's a cringe. They don't care about if between you going to Pink True's house and doing some horrible stuff to her, that you went out, you put on your Superman cape, and go rescue 10 kids from a ship that's sinking, and then come back and then go ahead and save 1,000 people again and then come back. They're literally just there for what the case was, and Tectone was trying to go everywhere else apart from the court case, and this is why he failed, because his only good way of like arguing is by shifting the goalposts, and he realized that in the court settings he couldn't really shift the goalposts as much as he wanted. This is why Saint Tontus is gonna lose badly in his case against Mr. Pokey, because he won't be able to shift the goalposts. He's gonna be held accountable and he's gonna get screwed. Now, if Saint Tontus was smart, he would apologize to Mr. Pokey. But you know, he's trying to maintain the image that he doesn't negotiate with terrorists, and because of that, it's gonna cost him and Tectone a lot of money in legal fees.
Buddy move in because he was struggling, and oh, by the way, it was totally free. Pink couldn't afford anything and her house had cockroaches. Tectone told Pink, I'll do anything to make your life better. Money, you got it. In fact, you can move in immediately. Later under cross, Pink's lawyer also clarifies with Tectone that there was only one cockroach, which he partially concedes to. And if that's true, it just fleshes out the picture for how manipulative he can be when presenting this stuff in open court, and trying to present Pink as destitute, basically. While things like this may work on his YouTube audience, in the middle of a civil court trial to go off on this long-winded rant only hurts him when his lawyer simply asked, when did she move in?
Freem, I carry our marriage, and you know that.
A large portion of Pink's cross-examination by Tectone's lawyer was to single in on her previous lawsuit with Tectone's ex-wife, Freem, basically saying, well, you're calling him an abuser now, but you weren't when you were trying to sue his ex-wife, which is already a pretty sticky situation for Tectone, as in the lawsuit itself, it alludes to his ex-wife on the precipice of making abuse and SA allegations against him.
She was going to do something much worse, so bad it would have ruined all of our lives. I'm not going to...
And this always, I think about this, man, because what exactly was she gonna do? That is because Pink Chu said that what happened to Freem was worse than what happened to Pink Chu. So what the hell happened between them two? It was so disgusting that it just can't be shown to the public. It's something that will ruin Tectone's career, and I believe it. I really believe it.
say what it was that she was doing, but it was so horrific, it would have ruined all of our lives.
The allegations Freem was going to make are alluded to in the lawsuit with Pink. They have also been talked about in the background for some time. The dispute between Freem and Tectone relates to a serious and false allegation against Tectone. During that call, Tectone and Pink Chu learned that Freem had a Google Doc and she was planning to release it to the public. Tectone signed an NDA with his ex-wife directly after she was about to come out with rape allegations against him. This was one of my main points in my first video and a thing I speculated over but was unable to get answers about. This is also fleshed out in the courtroom. Pink's lawyer asks, "Alright, and without going into details, that NDA relates to a lawsuit between he and his ex-wife post-divorce, right? I believe it was an agreement that they made. He told me that he had sent her a cease and desist, paid her $30,000, and had her sign an NDA to not go public. And this was right before you filed your lawsuit against her. Is that right? I believe after he had her sign the NDA and paid her, we had our spat and I sued her. Okay, and was that at his encouragement to sue her? He encouraged a lot for me to sign an NDA and keep all of it under wraps due to the allegations the ex-wife had. He didn't want those to be public." Tectone later would be questioned about this lawsuit between his ex-wife and ex-girlfriend.
Oh my God. Again, I was right. Right? I was right? Who does it benefit? Tectone. Because he has more to lose.
Pink's lawyer states, "And you also, at the time of the lawsuit, you wanted her to sign an NDA because you didn't want all of your ex-wife's allegations public. Isn't this correct?"
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Sure. We talked about the lawsuit, correct?
Of course.
And you tried to paint it that you were not involved in it. In fact, wanted nothing to do with it, correct?
I tried my hardest to not be a part of it, but obviously when Pink was worried about it, I tried to assist her.
And in fact, what was the attorney's name that...
But think about it. If Tectone was going out of his way to assist Pink Chu in her court case against Freem, this means that it's very highly likely that Tectone is assisting the think before you speak, the legal mindset, the Saint Tontos, the Nicholas Light, anybody that he can get a hand on, to the West Jets to paint the narrative for him as a, good guy in this situation, and it was wronged by the court system. It's very likely that's happened, and that might be foreshadowing to something.
handled the case?
I'm actually not familiar.
Aaron? You don't remember Aaron?
No, I'm not familiar with Aaron.
You may be thinking, why is Pink's lawyer asking Tectone about who represented Pink against his ex-wife? Well, it's because Tectone, by his own statements, was the one who got Pink's lawyer to sue his ex-wife. In November of 2024, here is Tectone addressing Pink after her allegations went public.
How these things that have happened in your own mind, you are now coming at me, and this just isn't cute. So, I am going to leave it at this. My lawyer is going to be contacting your lawyer. The same lawyer that I helped you get. The same lawyer that I helped you get. Because you were scared. I'm not f***ing around with this shit.
My intentions were to kind of just assist Pink. I mean, obviously, I think if I can toss myself a bone in those situations, I'll do it. But I mean, it's mainly just about Pink, being okay.
One of Tectone's claims was that he had all the receipts, and when all this came out, he would be totally vindicated.
Will you tweet out the proof? I will at a certain point. I will at a certain point.
Yeah.
I really, truly hope that you guys.
He absolutely did do that. And then he had the balls to say on record in court that he just didn't have enough time to gather the information necessary to prove that he was innocent. And he lost.
Guys believe everything that I said.
With 5
If you
lawyers.
didn't,
I'll provide proof later.
So shockingly, during the trial, after a year of claiming he had all the receipts, he in actuality had absolutely nothing.
The tweets that I pulled were kind of just like last second, I could probably dig more, but I haven't dug. I maybe dug for like 15 minutes.
Wait a minute. This has been on file since August. You've known about this since at least your video on November 21st, 2024.
Exactly. He had millions of billions of time. He is paying 5 lawyers. At least he could have paid one of the lawyers to gather the information for you.
And you're telling this court under oath,
Unless all the information that he could have gathered didn't really paint him in a good light either. I feel that's what happened. Because surely you had to have told one of the lawyers that to like get enough information that paint me in a good light. And the lawyer probably come back and say, bro, we can't use any of these. All of these will just help her instead of helping you. That's likely what happened, because there's no way Tectone can be that stupid to not prepare for a court case.
we spent 15 minutes to dig up these just for court today.
Yes.
And do you remember getting online and telling all of your followers you had all the evidence back in November of 2024
No.
and you were ready to produce it all?
Of course.
We also just get a straight up admission from Tectone that
Tectone announced he has resigned from OTK days after former girlfriend Pinkchu accused him of SA.
he's just a liar in the court transcript. Tectone explains very plainly that he was let go from OTK over these allegations. However, that wasn't what Tectone claimed at all at the time this event happened.
Let me explain to you why I left OTK, why I resigned from OTK, why I did not renew my contract with OTK.
Why?
That expired on November 1st, 2024. The original contract was 2 years with an additional option to extend by an additional year, thusly completing my 3 years in OTK. And the reason why I chose to not renew with OTK is because it gave me a weakness. And I realized I really don't like having weaknesses.
Everyone was talking about
Okay. So this is the exact same thing like what is currently happening now. Why I decided that, okay, I'm going to stop streaming on Twitch and YouTube and like Kick, and I'm going to be exclusively streaming on Rumble. He tried to make it seem like it's because he's getting censored on these platforms that he need to go to Rumble. And that really isn't the case. It's because he signed an exclusive deal with the CEO of Rumble, and they made a deal behind the scenes, and that's why it's like exclusively streaming on Rumble. So it's not about that. Maybe he have never shown any proof that he have gotten strike from Asan, from iDubbbz, or from Ariana Grande. That's 3 defamation lawsuit that can hit him one time. He has defamed YouTube. He has defamed Twitch. I mean, Twitch probably doesn't care any much. He has defamed YouTube, absolutely. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, as I'm saying that, bro, it's the exact same thing. There's a line for no reason.
it, which is why it forced me to respond, as well as the owners of my company decided to let me go as well because of the allegations. So people were ready to run with the ball of, look at that, another streamer from this org is a piece of shit.
And you were let go?
Instantly.
So Tectone, with his own testimony in court, is confirming he lied about why.
To be fair, that's true. A lot of people from the OTK situation is definitely turning out to be pieces of shit. Asmongold, Tectone, Emeru is one of the biggest piece of shit there because of what she did to Miskiff. Probably is a piece of shit too, but at least he didn't essay Emeru. But you know, they ran his name through the mud, told consecutive lies on him. It's unfortunate, but you know, that's a real case of somebody just outright lying about a guy. Tectone's case is totally different. It's absolutely true.
He left OTK originally. Tectone from the start of the trial tries to paint the picture of Pinkchu being a whore. Totally unprompted by his own lawyer, Tectone states,
If I can add further, when Pink came to my house, it was the most forward a woman has ever been with me in my entire life.
Tectone claims during his time on the stand that his and Pink's relationship was the most sexual one he had ever had, which I just thought was...
That doesn't make any sense. They didn't have sex. Like how is this the most? That doesn't make any sense.
Bizarre, considering they never had normal procreative sex. Pink's lawyer asked Tectone, have you ever also said online, after you were made aware of these allegations by my client, that you were one of the only streamers who has had a documented blow machine?
I am one of the only streamers that has had a documented blow machine.
That can't sound good. That really can't sound good. You don't say things like that, man. That is degrading for a woman to hear you call her like that. To just say, bro, you don't exist to me. I just see you as a BJ machine. That is the most degrading thing I've ever heard somebody say in a long time. That's, my God.
Right? Like, I don't know why people are thinking I'm sweating that I'm divorced. Guys, I'm out here having the time of my life. It's not a large pair of tits. It's not a big old ass. It ain't a big old blow machine that'll suck your daily because they're horny all the time. New blow machine acquired. Anything wrong? They like to bring up that I'm divorced all the time. Do these people not realize that I've had 2 back-to-back girlfriends since getting that divorce, and one of them was a self-proclaimed blow machine? Do they think I'm sweating anything, man? Yeah, because if I take it too serious,
Damn.
then everybody's going to think that it's real. And when you're in a self-defensive mode, you kind of got to say, you know, anything you can to save face, because when people are calling you a rapist every day, I mean, you got to let it roll off the shoulder or make it a joke.
And so the best way to defend yourself is to make the other person basically a whore, correct?
I don't believe that's the best way to do that.
Well, that's what you've done.
Yeah, that's what you've done.
I mean, the first thing you said when you testified today was that she was the most forward woman that you have ever had in your life on day one.
I don't think calling someone forward is calling them a whore.
Yeah, you're basically saying she was easy. Like, she was like, get this done. Like, she was like down for Pound Town immediately. That's basically what he said. Bro.
Really, when you talked about it, you said you like long tongues, and she exposed her tongue. You thought that was appropriate behavior?
It was probably inappropriate. That's probably what made it attractive, maybe, though. I'm just not used to it.
Do you not see that you were painting her in a particular light when you talk about these things in open court?
I can only give you an accurate representation of the truth. If it makes someone appear a certain way, that's not really against, or not really my intention.
One of the most important factors when a judge is making a judgment in these types of trials is the credibility of testimony. A judge weighs demeanor, specificity, and plausibility. So imagine you're a judge residing over this case for a protection order that entails alleged SA. The first thing the defendant does is say unprompted, she wanted to f immediately. And then directly after, go on another unprompted rant about how terrified of he is.
I heard that shit and I was like, damn.
Yeah, that doesn't really align together. You're scared of Virginia's, and you like that she's forward sexually. So which one is it?
Did the schizophrenia get me?
One of the reasons his protection order is so long is because for years now, Tectone has been
I
telling
feel it was just because he couldn't measure up. I just feel it's just because he couldn't measure up.
his audience in great detail and everyone around him that he is a schizophrenic.
It's called having schizophrenia. I'm fucking schizophrenic. Wait, am I allowed to get offended when people call people schizos because I have schizophrenia? As a guy who actually is schizophrenic, as a guy who does have mental illnesses, I'm schizophrenic. I'm really bad with horror games, so if I have to quit, you guys need to understand why that is. For example, I'm schizophrenic. Normal human beings aren't supposed to see things that aren't there. I have lived a life where I've always felt like there were people trying to kill me. I am also schizophrenic.
No, I think that's real life. I don't think that's in your imagination, bro. I think that's real life. I think people actually want to off you. I have seen some of them, and I have told them that we don't need to take it this far. We really don't. But I don't think that's. I think that's real life, bro.
Sometimes I can't tell if I'm a schizophrenic or if I'm a shaman.
Surprisingly, when asked what he takes for this
I think you're retarded. That's what I think you are. You're not none of those. You're just retarded.
unfortunate affliction, Tectone simply responds with,
I just take multivitamins and fish oil, so nothing. Kind of wanted to get a sleeve like that, but then I realized I'm schizophrenic and it might freak me out. Might make me think there's bugs in my skin.
when Pink's lawyer asks him why he isn't being treated for this very serious illness, Tectone responds in only a way he can.
I guess it's kind of goofy. There's this movie called The Beautiful Mind. And so I was like, man, his is messed up and mine is.
Oh my god, what a edit. What a edit. This is more bro, I'm just reliving the stuff that I saw in the documents, man. It's oh my god.
Nothing compared to that. So, you know, I hear people who talk to people who aren't there, but I'm just like, what's that? Oh, it's gone. That, you know, I've talked to spirits due to my mental illness, but here's the thing, guys.
Oh my god, bro. Bro talks to spirit, bro. God damn it. Really?
And here's the question I've always asked myself. Am I schizophrenic or am I a shaman? And obviously I'm schizophrenic.
No, you're retarded.
So, I mean, her face starts like mutating. Brother, the sheer damage I would have inflicted on humankind if I listened to the voices would be insane. You should peel off your skin, Techie. You should peel off your skin. Well, if that's what you think, that's what's the truth.
Though there were trials and tribulations for Tectone throughout losing his civil case, just 9 days after the trial, he would receive a miracle that cured his mind of a decades-long battle with schizophrenia.
I have an announcement. I went
And I won't. I'm gonna be very serious about this. Like, I literally am thinking about dropping a video titled like Tectone versus Sophia court case. And this video will not be about that court case. It will just be me explaining why I feel that this video will come to be in the future. I need to remember that and post it, because, bro, how? I get it, the money, but how are you gonna be the green card probably if she's not a citizen? I don't know. I don't care. But how are you gonna sit there and see? How could I best put this? How could I best put this? You're in a car with Tectone. Tectone is a driver, right? And you're in the front seat, the passenger seat. And you see him almost crash once. And you see him almost crash 2 times. And you see the seatbelt. And you decide maybe not to put on the seatbelt, or not to say, stop this car, let me get the frick out of it. You're going down in the car with Tectone without the seatbelt, with all the stuff you've heard, and you're gonna get married to this guy? Are you insane? Are you insane? But anyways, as I said, expect that video. Tectone versus Sophia court case. It's gonna be a meme video. It's not really talking about anything really, but like it's just a video, a placeholder to when that fighting is gonna happen, because it obviously is gonna happen, because based on the mathematics, it's destined to happen. Like, it's in Tectone's blood. Like, bro, it's generational shit. It's definitely gonna happen.
to a psychiatrist yesterday. And I'll try to provide some documentation of this at a later date whenever I receive it. Guys, I'm not schizophrenic.
He got cured. What the hell? I did not see this clip. He got cured? Holy oh yeah, I can understand why. Because when he was returning, the return stream, he was like, how should I say it? It was like, he was stalling for so long, and I decided, screw it, I'm not interested in it. But bro, you really said that. You really said that. It's the same thing like how he mentioned that he can't stop having sex, coitus with Sophia, and he was like afraid of Virginia's before when he was with Pink. So his story just, I'm gonna put this in a term that only the Hoyoshidose are gonna understand. Tectone story is like a wooden wave story. There are like 3 different segments, all very interesting, but none of them add up. Because how are you gonna be in a relationship where you're scared of Virginias and then all of a sudden can't stop having coitus with the new girlfriend? That doesn't really make any sense.
Diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Voices, these lies to her head must leave her in Jesus' name.
Guys, I'm not.
Why did you make that boxing, mother? That was beautiful.
Not schizophrenic. The psychiatrist believes the reason why I see things that aren't there,
It's because you're crazy.
mainly, well, at night,
It's because you're crazy.
is due to the fact that I got stabbed in my left eye and my right eye is normal. And so they believe that my eyeballs are causing me to temporarily hallucinate things that aren't there because they're not signaling my brain properly.
Okay,
That's how like some spiritual things that are not real.
that's great and all, but why do you talk about hearing voices all the time then?
I've talked to spirits due to my mental illness. I'm
Bro, that's some bullshit, bro.
schizophrenic. I get really bad thoughts in my head. So I was going there, unironically, and I'm trying not to get emotional. I thought there
Okay, buddy, let's not get emotional.
actually might be something wrong with me. And so I was going to actually try to get medicated. They said I do not require medication. I am
Because you were freaking lying.
I am just a
Liar. You're just a liar.
human with anxiety,
That's telling lies.
unresolved childhood trauma, and eyes that don't communicate too well to my brain.
That's a bullshit. That if you believe that, that's some bullshit.
I personally have no idea where Tectone's lies or truth begins with any of this, to be honest, because the web is so massive. At a certain point, it's just a mad scramble. But here's what we know.
Bro, you come up to me and you make that you say that because you get I would say you're stupid. I would run you out of the house, man, because that's some bullshit.
Tectone has stated that he plans to appeal the court's decision of the protection order.
Tectone's going through some stuff right now. He let me
It
know
will not go well. He will not win it. Give up.
he's going to be.
In fact, you want to stay far away from the courts right now because of the amount of times you have successfully broken the protective order. You want to stay the hell away from the courts right now.
Appealing that decision. You know, we've seen the courts do things that are not good.
And what is the first thing Tectone can do to help with his appeal? Not be a self-admitted, dangerous schizophrenic with a gun.
Once again, guys, I'm schizophrenic and I have a gun. I'm a very dangerous man.
Everyone has known the person growing up that lies about this or that mental illness that they are afflicted with. I can't say one way or the other if that's what Tectone has been doing, but I can say his sudden cure of schizophrenia only helps him with his appeal.
I think Sophia's box is so good it cured him. That's the only explanation I could think of, because like, damn, how do you get cured by a mental illness overnight? That makes no sense.
Only Tectone would have listened to the masters, his elders.
Remember my dad told me
The
I
high elders.
wasn't schizophrenic. I just played too many damn video games. Shut the up, old man.
Oh my god, we're talking about the dad now. This
I
is
love
not
the
good.
camaraderie.
Stop military.
I sent my ops to the courtroom for Tectone and Pink Shoe, and I have
It was not me, guys. It was not me.
written down notes for a 7-hour trial. I have 7 hours of notes on Tectone and what he did to Pink Shoe. Nice job, Tectone. You disgusting.
In a true all-time generational hater moment on
The way Miskiff hates Tectone is absolutely beautiful.
online, Mizkiff, an ex-member of OTK, sent people to the courtroom in Travis County, Texas, for the entirety of Tectone's trial with Pikachu. They even took video of Tectone leaving the courtroom.
Ready for this? There he is, leaving the courtroom today. The walk of shame as he lost the court case to Pikachu. He lost.
As I said in the last video when I covered this, you have to thank God that it was raining outside, because if it wasn't raining and the sun was beaming down on this, you would have never got this image. Never. And it looks like it is. Lawyer 1, lawyer 2, lawyer 3, lawyer 4. Only lawyer 5 is missing. So
For 10 years, he can't own a firearm, weapon, or gun, and he has to stay away from Pikachu. And has to pay all of her attorney fees, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Besides having agents in the courtroom, Mizkiff posted never-before-seen transactions and texts of Tectone securing view bots for his various channels.
This is the bots that were bought.
this is what we talked about earlier in the video, that the payments that you see Pikachu was making was for these bots. And the way this is, like how this is here right now, we can go into it. You see the way the bots are set up. This part of the video is not about Tectone, but about Saint Tontas and a recent incident. Recently, Saint Tontas made a wild claim that Artnet Enfield is botting his YouTube, is Twitter, I believe, is Twitch, right? And that he just need to say a few keywords and the bots just show up. The thing, how these bots work is that you pay for them and they're set to come up at a specific time, stay for a specific time, and then go away, right? So that's why I say you don't have like precision control over these bots. So the mere fact that Saint Tontas was able to precisely control when the bots were coming into his channel, when they were coming out, when they were going in back again, it is clearly obvious that is 100% proof that Saint Tontas is viewbotted. So that was not related to Tectone's case. It was a different case. It was one of Tectone's underlings. And that's about it, really.
This is Tectone's account, 2004, July 26, quantity 1,000, quantity 750. This is John Tectone messaging the person that was buying him the bot saying, "Sad
That's pink.
face, can you try that again? I'm stupid and dumb. You just make an account, pay to the top right, and add it to your account. If you need help, let me know. It's good for you to do it anyway since I won't be around. Let me know if you need me to walk through it and I'll help you," which then they tried to help him with secure paying, okay? Did you get my bots? So Tectone definitely needing her to buy the bots. I could only do 750.
That's a sip of a Mizkiff saying her. So we can put 2 and 2 together in our investigation here. That's why we are here, ladies and gentlemen.
But I sent you the link to everything. Sad face, can you try again? I'm stupid and dumb. There's Tectone's picture on August 24th, paying $1,000, claiming it's the house when it really was for bots.
You see?
Why would Tectone pay $1,000 for a house that he owns?
If you're skeptical for whatever insane reason, Tectone on his first stream back admitted to the botting allegations.
Hey, bro, there was motherfuckers going live on stream saying, "Yeah, ViewBot, hold up, I gotta send an extra 2,000. Have I dabbled in it? You're goddamn right. I absolutely tried it. Hey, it is what it is. And I don't do that more, but it is what it is.
The most common thing I heard from people I spoke with about Tectone was that he was a massive view botter. Tectone has made a lot of money streaming and a lot of money from sponsors. Once Tectone leaked a $35,000 payment he received on stream.
Look at that.
Video?
He's killing it, man.
Oh, I did that.
What is that?
Whoa.
Money from sponsors. Once Tectone
Wait,
leaked a
wasn't that
$35,000 payment he received on stream.
Look at that.
Video?
He's killing it, man.
You have money on the way from OTK Media Inc. OTK Media Inc. Sent you USD 35,000 memo invoice. Lark R's, your money is on the way. Okay, so this is from a sponsor. Now, the way how people can manipulate the view botting is from sponsors. when you can argue to a sponsor that you stream to X amount of people and you work out a rate of how much you get paid per 1,000 viewers, and then you inflate those numbers with view bots, you end up making a lot more money. This is how they make their money. I think if I look up Saint Tonta's video, the one that he got sponsored with the Girls Frontline 2, it likely got a lot of views, and a lot of those views are probably bots. So he won't get paid by YouTube or Twitch, but he will definitely get paid by the sponsors. So the sponsors are the one that are left to flip the bill. And view botting works extremely well on Twitch because you get pushed up more in the algorithm based on how much views you have. So if you're the one in the category with the most views, obviously you're gonna be the top of the chart, and everybody's gonna be coming into your channel and seeing your channel more. It's so beneficial for you to view bot on Twitch than YouTube, but like it really does help on Twitch. This is why content creators like Saint Tontas and Tectone do it, and probably others too. Probably people like Asmongold and stuff like that. Maybe he does it. I'm not sure. Probably.
I did that.
What is that?
0.
I just got tons of money. Holy.
So the thing is, if you're view botting and you're getting tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars from companies to show their product to viewers that aren't real, well, that's fraud.
Is view
Amen, brother.
botting bad? It really depends on how you think about it. It's kind of like lying to sponsors as well. Do I want to feel bad that multi-million-dollar corporations are losing money? I don't really care about companies losing money, man. I don't care.
Of course he done, because he did it. Wonderful.
Hey, man.
I honestly am not sure if everyone can just view bot and then steal from sponsors. I'm a tiny channel, obviously, so I have no clue how prevalent this is, but it is interesting Tectone openly.
It's very prevalent, probably. Very, very prevalent. It's unfortunate, but the world's unfair. Like, I've literally seen, I don't remember who it is, what streamer said it, that, you know, it's only fair that we view bot. It's not fair because you're being unfair to everybody that's going out and trying to do it the right way, the honest way. You're screwing them over. It's never fair.
Admits to defrauding them.
And guys, I'm going to keep this vague. I'm going to keep this vague for a reason. Okay? So if you're confused, you're going to stay confused.
There are multiple incidents of SA spoken about in the trial's transcript. I personally don't want to get into details of all of them. However, I want to look at one incident in particular because I believe the records and witness testimony surrounding it absolutely sank Tectone and made me personally truly believe that Tectone is guilty of what he has been accused of. In late May,
I was convinced before he even started, man. Like I saw the signs coming from a long way away. Like I literally saw the signs from the incident with him and X-Juice. I saw that, yo, this guy, something's not right with him, and I was right.
Pikachu had just recently been to a plastic surgeon to get lip filler done. That night, Pink alleges Tectone asked her to perform an oral action on him. She told Tectone that her lips were hurt because she had just gotten this procedure done and told him she didn't want to. He then allegedly pushed her down and didn't let go until she performed this action. It was so forceful that her lips were in significant pain afterwards, and the filler she had just had done migrated around her face. It was so bad that she required medical treatment after the fact, which is clearly stated on some of the court's paperwork. Maybe you were a skeptic and want to say she made this up. Well, don't take my word for it. Take Tectone's.
You know what you can't do to women who have lip filler? You can't their mouth. Because it.
And you know what's the worst part? His audience are still gonna say that this doesn't prove anything. Yeah, they're gonna still defend him because they're just that brain dead.
Rupture the fucking lip filler, so you can't even go hard. And you know they're not making their own money, so then you got to pay for another lip filler. How do you know? Man, I wonder.
Yeah, man, I wonder too. Tectone. Yeah, Asmongold. Oh, interesting. I mentioned the rat, and the rat is here.
Jesus, bro. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, these fucking bimbos on the internet, they are not worth a fucking damn. By the way, fellas, just letting you know, lip filler might look good. It's fucking terrible because when a woman has lip filler in, they can't suck your dick as hard. Otherwise, it might fuck up the filler. You know, it's very delicate. Like with the lip injections, you can't throat fuck them as hard as you want to because then it'll fuck up their filler. So it's like they'll look.
I thought it was just the one time he mentioned it. Like it's damn, it's a lot. He mentioned this a lot more than I anticipated to begin with. Damn, I didn't notice that.
Really hot, but you can only go like 10% power on them. You have to be okay. So the reason why it sucks, women who
Yeah, it turns you on so bad, but you just can't go as hard as you want. You know, I understand.
look like that is because I'm like a very like hard you know what I mean? Like I go very hard, like very hard, very fast. Like it's fine to like start off slow, but then it becomes like a battle, right?
What?
Of who can each other the hardest,
What?
right?
As you can see, Tectone quite clearly and disturbingly, with all of the context, has quite often reflected on this
Wait
event
a minute.
with Pink, where after he allegedly forced her to perform
Yeah, I did not expect it was that much times. Like I know about the first instance where he mentioned it, but I didn't realize that it was so much times that he mentioned this shit. Like, man, he just can't stop talking, and every single time he talks, he lands himself in a whole lot of hot water, man. Really and truly.
an oral action, she had to go to the hospital. You know, as a partner, if a procedure has been done, it's on you to be caring and consoling, not to take advantage of them when they are in pain after an operation like this. I just think if your lips are hurting from a surgery and your doctor has told you not to perform any sexual actions, what is most likely to have happened here? I mean, you heard Tectone himself talk about how forceful he was and just how bizarre that is when your partner has just gotten a medical procedure done. Now, after going over
You should have waited, man. Should have waited.
for how Tectone performed in court and how he brought really nothing new to the table, you can see why the judge found reasonable grounds to believe that an assault happened here. This incident with the lip filler would also be brought up during cross-examination. Pink's lawyer asks, okay, isn't it true that you have posted on social media that it's hot when girls have their lips done with filler for jobs?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and in fact, you've said on social media that you can't go too hard on them when they first get their lip fillers done because it causes problems with the filler, correct?
I'm not familiar with that comment, but perhaps I wouldn't
Yeah, that's a lie.
say that I didn't say that.
Okay, and in fact, your exact statements on February 5th of 2025, so after these allegations were made, is,
These are so hot, but in practicality, they are the worst thing to ever exist. So lip fillers, they do make your lips look f***able as shit. But the problem is anybody who has lip fillers cannot suck worth a damn. It sucks. It sucks. Because if they suck too hard, it'll f*** up their lip fillers. So unless they're able to deep throat your and just let you throat them with their mouth open, it's just not worth it. It's really not.
is that correct?
Yeah, I became very familiar with the flaws with lip filler.
Henry Resilient, who did a great job running through the outline of the court documents, also made a great point in regards to why Tectone lost in court possibly. Presumably the doctor Pink met with after the lip filler incident testified over Zoom.
February 23rd, Pink requested that a doctor testify via Zoom on her behalf. Not Tectone, who saw the court docs. So this guy, who was one of the leading plastic surgeons, joined the trial to say, hey, whatever they witnessed, whatever it was, it must have been compelling enough. Whatever she said was compelling enough for the protection order to be granted.
This is
Hmm.
also backed up in
But I don't. Would it be for the protective order itself? I don't think it's necessary. Like, all right, for the protective order, I believe the reason why it's granted was because of the threats. I just believe it's because of the threats, right? But the filler incident is just a essay on its own. Like, it's proof that, you know, she was essayed during the relationship. That is what it is, because she literally told him no. She had lip fillers on. She had to wait for it to heal properly, and then he forced her to do it. That is essay. So maybe it did help with it, but like I don't think it's a driving factor as to why it was granted.
In the transcript, when the judge talks about generating a Zoom link for a witness, they refer to the witness as a custodian of records, which is someone in court that goes on record for the authenticity of the records presented in court. So Pink's doctor authenticated the records of her injury to the court, which could have also detailed the reason the injury was sustained in the first place.
And you have people like saying Tontas, I don't know if I should make that video. Maybe I should come out and say that how, you know, you get bruises when you come from surgery, and it wasn't because of Tectone, it was because of the bruises that came from the surgery, which was a lie, all because he wanted to buy for Tectone.
And so if you're the judge and you're trying to determine what likely happened here, and you have someone claiming SA, they have medical documentation and doctor testimony that they were injured during this act, and the man being accused is talking about how forceful he is in regards to doing this thing to someone recovering from a medical procedure, what the f are you going to think? It really is no wonder at all that Tectone lost when you look at what both parties were bringing to the courtroom. However, even with the protection order served, this still wouldn't stop Tectone from communicating with third parties to mount a defense for himself against his ex-girlfriend, which legally speaking seems like a terrible mistake.
Yeah, because he has broken the protective order because of it. Now, okay, we come back. Okay, so the thing, what were we on again? Let me scroll back a little bit. Let's go back 10 seconds.
With the protection order served, this still wouldn't stop Tectone from communicating with third parties to mount a defense for himself against his ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah, this. Now, this broke the protective order because in order to talk about Pinkchu, he literally talked about Pinkchu with these people, lightly gave them information on the situation between her, which is something that he should not be doing. Is in the essence of a protective order, you should not be talking about a person, and he has gone and done so multiple times. As you can see from my videos, multiple times he have broken the protective order, and because he's now on Rumble, I think he feels that he's justified to break the protective order even more. He shouldn't be mentioning or referencing her, period.
Which, legally speaking, seems like a terrible mistake.
You can get laid anywhere with some cash, though. Viking Gnome, dude. 100% true.
The Filipino ladyboys in Manila.
Right.
And
you're an expert. You're an expert.
Go east, gentlemen.
Legal Mindset, or Andrew, is a passport bro and YouTube lawyer who lives in Asia. Legal Mindset laid a foundation for defending Tectone publicly, and Tectone, in my opinion, was also communicating with and sending him things such as the transcript itself.
How'd you get the transcripts? Legal Mindset magic, right? Things just appear in Legal Mindset's inbox.
And it was the worst part about that. He did this maliciously where he docs Pinkchu while not doxing Tectone. Showcase Pinkchu's address and real name, which is I definitely believe it's malicious intent. Why? Because why would you redact one person and don't redact the other person? It definitely speaks intent, and this is why it's getting sued by Pinkchu actually.
Confidential polygraph test Tectone took.
I've also got confidential polygraph results that I obtained that are very telling.
Before Legal Mindset even had the transcripts, he knew aspects of the case, like how Tectone would use a whiteboard when he had a disagreement with Pink.
And also, here's another thing too, and I think this does come up, is the way that people communicate with each other. So sometimes the way they communicate, it doesn't seem normal. Maybe they communicate primarily by text or whatever. Maybe it's an IRL. Maybe they do other stuff. I think with Tectone, there might have been a whiteboard involved at some point where they're explaining stuff. Maybe that's just how they learn, right? Maybe that's just how they intake information. That doesn't necessarily make it derogatory or negative. Or
Andrew at first tries to find a way to talk around the fact that Tectone is incapable of laying pipe by calling it a kink.
Did his penis ever touch your vagina? Never. So there was no penis to vagina that happened at all, right?
Virginius.
It's a kink, right?
What?
Again, kinks are kinks, right? Was it sexual? Yes. Okay. It was the most sexual relationship I've had. Well, if it was only jobs, then I will just say that that's like like maybe he just hasn't had a lot of relationships like that. Anyways, I don't want to read too much into it, but yeah. Okay.
Then later he claims this entire protection order with alleged SA is simply because Tectone wouldn't lay pipe, which is bizarre.
Mr. Robertson, did you ever engage in intercourse with? Her first question is about intercourse. So all of this is because she didn't get, and I'm going to use it.
Lawyers speak, legal mindset. What they're doing is that they're trying to paint Tectone that, how should I say this? As somebody that was just trying to use her for just being a BJ machine. So they're trying to showcase to the court that Tectone have no interest to having a real relationship with her or having sex with her. How do you not see this? I don't know. And you're the one that's the legal mindset. Really?
A technical term. This is an industry technical term that I've heard from industry professionals, like my friend Sterling Cooper, who used to work in the adult industry. I think the technical term is dicked down. I think that is the professional term. I think it's a legal term. So because she did not get dicked down, it appears that is what this is about. And
again, no, because her main two situation that she brought up was the incident where he forced her 2 times, one when she get the breast implants, the other when she get the lip injections. Come on, did you read this?
The fact that the lawyer led with that shows that that's the impression she wants to give. This is the first question. I'm gonna highlight you guys. The first question she asks.
When in the transcript, Andrew is confronted with the clip of Tectone confirming the lip filler incident when Pink had to go to the hospital. Instead of explaining to his audience why this is disastrous for Tectone in his case, he just glosses over it and calls it a mistake.
So after these allegations,
I didn't watch Legal Mindset's coverage of this. I don't like to take my information from doctored sources that will only tell one part of the situation.
Made is lip fillers. They do make your lips look as shit. But the problem is anybody who's had lip fillers cannot suck it worth a damn. It sucks because if they suck it too hard, it'll fill up. After lip fillers, is that correct? So he said that. By the way, okay, Tectone, this is pretty stupid, but saying lips look is not a sin. But, you should just not criticize people's sucking ability so much. I don't know. Anyways, this was not a smart tweet, probably.
Oh, so I see what he did. He didn't really focus on what actually was said and tried to nitpick and take out one thing that was not what this statement was about, while not addressing it, which was him basically admitting that yes, he did do that and it was not good. He tried to turn it and shift it into don't judge her Gluck capabilities and stuff like that, which was not what was said here.
But whatever, let's continue.
Again, Tectone here is confirming the injury that Pink sustained during the act. Legal Mindset basically paints Pink as mentally ill and runs all the stops as trying to paint this as a Johnny Depp Amber.
That is coming directly from Tectone. Why I said that, the fact that Pink is mentally ill, why I say that is because that's the exact same thing Braxophone said when Braxophone was getting his information from Tectone only, that she's mentally ill. So this is something that Tectone is spreading between his friends through the internet, that, Pink Chu is mentally ill, don't believe what she's saying, she's lying, and stuff like that. So this is definitely coming from the direct mouth of Tectone.
Heard situation.
Apparently she's got, according to her own confession, some issues she's dealing with, some trauma, maybe some mental health stuff. She has bipolar and BDD. Yeah, I mean, that'll do it right there. But when Pink was worried about something, it consumes her. Sounds like she has really bad depression too. And the important thing here is we are in a post-Depp world. There's a lot of Me Too cases that end up absolutely destroying men based on the laws in the West.
That is true, but this isn't one of them.
But Depp versus Heard is when I blew up. So I'm treating this like Depp versus Heard. But in a post-Depp world, we cannot take Me Too at its face.
Andrew talks out of...
You know what's the worst part? This is one of the most fair cases actually out there. Because even though the mountain of evidence that was there, they still judge it fair and they still asked Tectone for his defense, which he did not have any, which he claimed that he had it before, but somehow when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of it, it doesn't have it. Like, what happened? What happened there? Like, what happened to this mountain of evidence that Tectone had that was so damning that it was going to ruin Pink Chu's court case, which Pink Chu won?
Both sides of his mouth, claiming that he is the only objective person who can cover this, while also making you...
No, and this is the thing that Tectone does with his audience. Tectone, there's a reason why I always refer to Tectone as like all for one. He bring these small content creators up, give them opportunity, and in return, you have to scratch his back. And by scratching his back is that you have to go and defend them, and you will get good graces, you will get views, you will get acknowledged, you will get opportunity. This is the same thing that he did with Pink Chu. He brought her into his house. He told her the specific thing he wanted from her to suck him off. And what happened is that he will give her opportunity, he will give her success, and things like that. It's a very manipulative way to handle a relationship. And pretty much I can say this with confidence that Tectone is just a big manipulator. He just manipulate people around him. And this is the same thing that Saint Tontus is doing. Captain Cabinets is absolutely right that Saint Tontus will just gather a bunch of content creators at the lower, bring them up, and will use them as his yes man. Blazion was a yes man for him to a bit. Fargos was a yes man for him for a bit. Which other content creator I know of right now? I'm not sure, but I don't think Mr. Heart of Gold VXC Fiction is fully a yes man for him. I believe Neon Infinity, average luck gamer, just as talented as Saint Tontus in ZZZ. Those two content creators are probably now gonna be a yes man for him. And one other content creator I don't know, his name is Irrelevant. The Gacha 2DG, something like that, irrelevant content creator. But it's the same thing that's happening with Saint Tontus too, where Saint Tontus is just bringing these guys in, giving them opportunity, and with that, you have to defend Saint Tontus. The reason why I could easily do that. Like, I'm entertaining as hell. I can literally do that, and I could make a really good case better than the ones that they currently have under them. It's just that I don't really like telling lies. It's just that something that just, and I know for a fact that the things that they spread, the propaganda that they spread, are lie, and I just can't live with myself if I come online every single day and just outright lying to you guys about things that I don't believe in. Like, to outright lie that the games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Xenosaga Zero is in a terrible state, that would be a lie. Like, they have been doing a lot of good. There are a few things that I have issues with, and I will be making video on that with each game. No game is perfect in my opinion, but whenever I talk about things that needs to be fixed and get with Wuthering Waves to improve Wuthering Waves, I am a hater. But it is what it is. Sorry, I went off a tangent. You probably don't understand what I was talking about, but it is what it is.
Clear he is doing this as a third party because Tectone is unable to.
I'm going to be the only person to cover this kind of objectively from...
Nah, you lie. You lies.
And that can cover it. That's the point here, is that Tectone cannot say these things, right? And cannot actually move against her publicly, right? So he
has to gather the yes men to formulate the case for him by the very special curated words and transcript that he had to follow. And did legal mindset? Did he bring you down and he pulled out the whiteboard on video and say, like, this is where I want you to go with the video, right? Tectone good, Pink Chu bad. Tectone got manipulated by Pink Chu. Tectone did nothing wrong. Tectone good guy. Did he use the whiteboard on YouTube? I'm curious.
Can't defend himself. So a lot of people out there are saying, Tectone, defend yourself, defend yourself. He can't do anything. He can't say anything, right? That's a big factor here as part of my analysis, is that Tectone can't fight back. So this is why we want that. He will not cover this. So this is why you need an objective person covering it, and he will not be covering this. He cannot talk about this, guys. This is the point. The point is Tectone cannot defend himself. And to be honest with you guys, once again, if I'm going to disclose my bias, and I do have a bias here, I like Tectone. And I'm not going to pretend that I don't like Tectone and I don't like the content he covers, and that some of my bias is towards his defense. Listen.
You can have bias, absolutely. You can have bias, but don't let that bias shine through in the video. At least cover it fair if you're gonna be there saying that you're covering stuff fairly. I am biased, absolutely, to Mr. Pokey and against Saint Tontus and Tectone, absolutely. But I am fair. Like, if they say something that I agree with, I would say absolutely I agree with this. But most of the time they don't. Sometimes they say some good things. Like, for example, when Tectone said that, that many people get wrongfully accused, but with SA, I agree with him, absolutely. But that was not Tectone's case. We're arguing about Tectone's case right now. Tectone is trying to, like, rope all these situations in that were unjust and try to use that as a catalyst to say that what happened to him was unjust, when that was really not the case, because there was a mountain of evidence that proved that Pinktree was right and Tectone was in the wrong.
The language of this protective order says he cannot do anything to harass or annoy her. So even releasing documents can be seen as harassing or annoying. So Tectone cannot release this document, right? Now, Legal Mindset is not Tectone. So I can do what the I want to do.
The other aspect to this is that Legal Mindset refused to redact any information, such as names and addresses, which doxed Pink. The after events of the protection
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier in the video.
order ruling was a total shit show. Every document that was supposed to be private, detailing Pink's SA and home address.
I've talked with this person. I can confirm that it probably is not Tectone, but this person is somebody big. I feel that it's a Legal Mindset. I feel that it's Legal Mindset. But, that's just my opinion. As far as clearing up that stuff, that's as far as it goes. But the thing about the situation is, if the courts get a hold of this, that this document was circulated in Tectone space before it was even released, Tectone will be in problem for this.
Were leaked originally in Tectone's Discord. The person that posted it found a workaround in the coding of the government site that allowed you to access the files. I actually emailed Travis County because I was wondering if this is what happened, and it turns out that it was. And hours from me emailing the county, the file's accessibility was shut down. Pink actually had to move because of all this, and she actually responded to Legal Mindset on Twitter, claiming this is the, quote, lawyer Legal Mindset who posted unredacted leaked documents that were meant to be sealed live to thousands of people to dox me, putting my family in danger.
The funny thing, it's not even funny. The things about it is that the reason why I believe this is Legal Mindset is that this guy just knows too much about the law in particular. You'll have to be working with these type of documents like a long time to even know that loophole is even there. And who else better to know that than Legal Mindset, Yes, really suspicious, really, really suspicious,
Then pictured is a tweet of Andrew hitting on Pink, which is sort of the more white trash aspect to this, I would say. Legal Mindset is trying to sweep it up and give an incredibly biased reading of a case where Tectone is accused of SA, and then going on Twitter and hitting on the alleged victim, and he's actually done it more than once. When I pointed out to Legal Mindset it wasn't the transcript, but the court files that had leaked due to a bug Pink was upset about, he both blocked me and hid my reply. Anyways, beyond being a dishonest degenerate, I did feel there was an oddly poetic moment during his coverage. While trying to obviously work with Tectone to fight against his ex-girlfriend who now had a 10-year protection order, Legal Mindset very suddenly breaks down into tears.
I'm gonna fucking cry here, you know, because it's hard to do this. It's hard to do this. Hey, appreciate you guys. I gotta lock in. I love you guys. So look at me. People are gonna make fun of me, be like, look, Legal Mindset crying on stream. I don't give a shit.
So pretty simply, what you have is Tectone, who just got a protection order by the courts, working with and sending things to YouTube lawyers to then release that information and fight.
I know it's difficult. I know it's really difficult. I faced this thing 2 times where, as you guys know, I play PUBG Mobile professionally for a time on esports level. I consume PUBG esports content like a lot. I'm a little bit behind, but I will get there back again. And I normally used to watch videos online, mostly not really doing YouTube before that. And 2 content creators, 2 very, very funny content creators. And it's worse when it happens to you. Like, the first one was Dr. Disrespect. You probably know what I'm talking about. It was difficult to deal with that. I unsubscribed from him. I stopped watching his content. He's still a very, very funny content creator. But it's unfortunate when your heroes end up doing some things that, you just can't defend. And you just look really bad when you try to defend what they do. And EDP, very funny content creator. His content was very funny at the time until he got caught trying to get cupcakes. I had to unsubscribe from him as well and stop watching him. So unfortunate. You probably seen him and not even know who he is. It's just, oh my God. I won't get into anything like that. But as I'm saying, like, bro, Legal Mindset breaking down in the tears because like his boy got caught and he was trying so hard to defend it. And he knows that if he go online and publicly disavow what Tectone did, you get cut off from the gravy. You're not going to get the much views again. You're not going to get the following. You're not going to get the support from Tectone. It's a big ass kissing situation, and it's something that I will never ever do, to go out of my way to kiss Tectone's 2 moons in order to get approval from him in order to grow my channel. Like, that is just not the way I want to do my stuff. Sure, it's good for long term, for money, quick money and stuff like that, but is it worth it to sell your soul to gain the world? I don't think so.
Back against her in the public square. Tectone and Legal Mindset didn't always get along. In fact, Tectone quite disliked Legal Mindset, who used to refer to Tectone as a 39 IQ buffoon.
People like Tectone have lost reality with like the real world and how things have to be in a contract. Like, I mean, Caveman.
There's more lore. I have not seen this type of lore.
And Caveman Smash Guy over there. 39 IQs in the chat for Tectone. So now Tectone, I guess, is going to say something dumb. Wow.
Damn. So is this like turn your enemies into your friends by bribing them? And now, damn, that's some.
Wow. These people are just dumb. Like, are they not thinking about the reality of how these things work? So I don't want to keep you guys awake too long. I think we've seen enough of losing brain cells. 39 IQ takes for the night. But yeah, this is pretty bad.
This is what I normally say too. Like losing brain cells watching Saint Tonto's video and Tectone's video.
I really don't give a about this Legal Mindset guy. I really don't. Like, I mean, I could pretend that I do, but I really just fucking don't, man. I will admit, I think Legal Mindset's a very dangerous creator because a lot of people take what he says far too seriously, and he's really missed the mark when he was talking about me. And I think that's very dangerous when people hold your word to such high degree, and then you go farm and you just get some PR dunk points. I think that's very dangerous.
And obviously, we got the VTuber Cinder, so if you don't.
But I have just such a bitter taste in my mouth ever since he attempted to me over some bullshit. Yeah, I kind of just take everything he says with a grain of salt.
Once Tectone's legal issues began closing in, he did a total 180 and began glazing legal mindset to such a degree it would make Thai lady boys blush.
No, why you do this? I won't explain that joke because if you're too young to understand that joke. But Jesus. So I didn't know this, that legal mindset and Tectone didn't see eye to eye to begin with. And then Tectone rubbed his back. And now legal mindset is rubbing back Tectone. That's
I highly recommend everybody watching this video right now go subscribe to Legal Mindset and support the original channel as well. I just like getting informed on everything, and obviously pretty soon I'm going to be getting very involved with the law, and I want to make sure that I am ready to dissect my enemies.
Not only was he glazing, but leading up to his legal issues, he was also speaking with Mindset frequently.
Which, by the way, I've been talking to Legal Mindset quite a lot. He's a very nice guy. Believe, and I'll have to ask Legal Mindset, aka the sexiest man on Twitch. God, bro, look at him.
He's into dudes. He's into me. He keeps hitting on me, right? It's a little bit uncomfortable, right?
Just a few weeks later, Pink filed her protection order against Tectone on August 21st. Here's Tectone 4 days later.
Legal Mindset is one of the greatest gifts to content creation in the past 3 years. One of the best channels on the entire platform, and I stand by that. Side note to you, Legal Mindset, you have now broken into my 5 favorite content creators to watch. I was even watching.
Damn, that's some love bombing, bro.
Your YouTube live stream this morning. Amazing streamer, amazing content creator, a brilliant mind of the legal space. I love this shit.
Just 1 month after Pink got her protection order, Tectone got Legal Mindset signed to Mythic Talent.
So of course I joined the talent agency Mythic, and this was put out on September 27th, so it's 3 days ago, which was really awesome. Big thanks to Tectone for helping me out. He actually got me in contact and let me get in contact with the leadership, the CEO, the COO. It was really awesome to meet them and to talk about them.
And one of the things I'm not even sure was very.
Damn, bro, I would never do that. That's some sellout stuff, man. Bro, I will never do that to you guys. Don't. There's no amount of money can make me come online and tell lies. No.
Very well known was that Tectone was a creator behind Mythic Talent.
And then Mythic Talent was an organization that I created with some peers from another company called AFK, where they were actually, not being too kind to their employees. And so I took some of their employees and made our own ad company to bring money to creators. You can send this to whoever the fuck wants to hear it. So I keep on being told, and this is real, by the way. I've seen this comment so much. I keep on being told that Legal Mindset is like incredibly biased and in my favor and will defend me to the brink of death because
he literally said so on record, bro. He literally said so on record. Like bro, it was not AI generated. It literally said that in his video. He didn't get hacked. He literally said that.
I got him into Mythic Talent.
He literally said that, bro.
Me personally, it just seems like Tectone courted Legal Mindset leading up to his legal troubles, and once the protection order was served, used his connections in the industry to prop him up and scratch his back, which would inevitably lead to Mindset's absurd defense of Tectone once the trial results came in.
Amen. That's exactly what happened.
And getting Legal Mindset on his side and hired to Mythic Talent may have in fact been a strategy.
I'm glad we have people like Sensitive Society and WestJet.
Other content creators who have collaborated and been on Tectone's podcast also cover this story, such as WestJet and Sensitive Society.
This guy is dumb. You see this face? Is his IQ. This other guy, WestJet, I don't hate him. Like, it is what it is. Like, they're just securing the bag, it is what it is. But this guy is just dumb.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and conceal my bias. I want Tectone to be innocent. I like the guy. I don't want him to be a but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and carry water for Tectone and a girl with information I don't have, calling her a liar and stuff like that.
Because I'm friends with Tectone, I guess it's time the elephant in the room gets addressed. You guys know me, I like to keep it 100 with everyone. And
lies.
Of course, it's no secret that I like Tectone. I've talked to him. He's been nothing but kind to me. A few months ago, he invited me on.
Bro, this just proves how much you can trust these content creators on telling the truth. When it comes down to their boys, they just like tell lies on top of lies, and they try to spin the truth
Onto his podcast.
So they state their biases in the video. However, for large portions of both of their videos, simply had legal mindset giving the most absurd takes on the case.
They're almost trying to paint him in a way, if you know what I mean.
Never actually engaged in traditional intercourse. It was only he received blowjobs. There was never any reciprocation. So they're literally making a case that because he didn't have sex with her, this is abuse, right?
which was not the case. You know, I'm Jesus. That was not why the court case happened. It was because of what Tectone did to her lips and to her boobs. That was it. That comment that you mentioned is a setup. I can't believe we're doing this.
Right. So I just want to make it clear here that there's an argument here that really the problem is they didn't.
Now, thankfully, YouTube lawyer made a video about this a day ago explaining everything.
He approached this very innocently after he was betrayed in a relationship which Freem cheated on him. In fact, all the communications I reviewed show Tectone as a reasonable, kind guy. Don't say. He says, I will never understand how much this must hurt you, but proud you're fighting through it. And this is not the language I would see of an abusive partner, someone who's hurting or someone who's out there to get somebody, but someone who really genuinely wants to help. And it seems like this may be a case of what you call buyer's remorse in dating, where you go back and you say, okay, well, now that I'm out of this, this is a situation where it was buyer's remorse. I regret things I did, or I regret stuff I did, even though it was consensual at the time. And unfortunately, as I got to report to you guys, the U.S. legal system weaponizes this. It allows people to go back, regret things, and then go get protective orders, go make claims in the future when all of this should.
I understand you're a little bit slow, legal mindset, but let me dumb this down a little bit for you. And tell me if this makes sense. If somebody did something with somebody, right? A girl did something with a guy, and she went back in time. And said that she doesn't feel like this is good. So she bring it up in court that because she didn't feel like this was okay, having like sex with this guy, this means that she can get a protective order on him. She will not get a protective order. The protective order is to protect against somebody that would probably try to stalk and abuse somebody and bring harm to somebody. This incident about she not getting sex would have never passed the protective order. It would have never gone through because there was no instant where she was threatened or her life may be endangered. What made the protection order go through is his mentioning of guns, is mentioning of threatening her, knowing her location, stalking her, which was all proven in that court case, and the abuse that he did to her multiple times, not listening to her and trying to be manipulative to her. That's what caused it. I don't know. Why am I even responding to this?
Be dealt with privately.
My problem with both of these videos is that if you're going to talk about this case, then people should actually know some of the damning things within it. If you aren't talking about how Pink, while
well, that's because that's what they're paid to do. That's what they're doing. They're just making sure that Pink Chu looks in a really bad light. I've seen this happen before, and I mentioned it. The situation with Tectone versus MTash, when what is his name? LOL Shinya, one of Tectone's ops, decided to make a video about it. he was very biased and didn't mention the situation in its entirety. So anybody that didn't have the full context would have think that M-Tash did what he did because of jealousy, which was not the case. That's a whole different thing in the past that I won't go through to begin with. But as I said, it has been proven multiple times that Tectone will and have done this in the past and has done it recently as well. So there is that.
Recovering from an operation, was injured, that there is medical documentation to back it up, and that Tectone himself has openly stated that this event happened, and you just have Legal Mindset on screen talking about how the problem actually is that Pink wasn't getting then that's
because their goal is not to win the legal court case. Their goal is to win the online narrative to their dumb audience. They don't care about the court case. If they will get screwed, absolutely, because the information is definitely going to the court right now on Tectone breaking the protective order, and you likely have to spend some even more money or even face a little bit of a time in the pound town and get to explore his other areas. But how should I put this? Like, the court system doesn't care about if you're a girl or a boy. All it cares about is if you're right and wrong. And Tectone was wrong multiple times in this situation. Absolutely. And this is why he lost the court case. It was never because like his favoritism or anything like that.
sweeping. I think it largely helps Tectone from people that have collaborated with them. It also seems like at least WestJet had some idea that Tectone was just working with Legal Mindset.
I genuinely don't know how effective polygraphs are, but it is interesting how Legal Mindset even got this confidential file in the first place.
Sensitive Society would actually issue an apology for his video.
His opinion, the only people that I care about is my audience, and if you feel let down by my video on Tectone, I do apologize for that. It 1000% falls on me. I think I should have done a better job covering the situation, maybe not be as biased.
And shortly after would take down both his apology and the original Tectone protection order video he made.
They call him a generational rapist. Yes. When you have people that are spreading.
I think he is a generational rapist because his father did it and now he did it. Like, bro, yeah, it's there.
You know, at least from his.
And then he's going to have a situation with Sophia as well. So it's just going to continue. I don't think he's going to pass on his father. His father set a record. His father create history. But I think he's stepping in the right direction. All I can say.
Perspective, the court case is not finished, and so I do know more about it than the public.
Oh, that part was so beautiful that you know more about it than the public, and then when it comes out public, you didn't want to say anything about it. How convenient.
And also I remain to be Tectone's friend, and I support Tectone. You can take that for what you will. So as somebody who knows more about this than the public, I think that when he comes back, all of this is going to make a lot more sense. I'll certainly say that. So don't worry about it, guys.
Did it.
Tectone will be back. It's not going to be a big deal. Everything's totally fine.
Asmongold supported Tectone and frequently alluded to Tectone's innocence and knowing things the public didn't. However, once Tectone lost his case, this was his reaction.
Streaming is just, it's so toxic, man. Tectone is a civil case. Based on a lawsuit that I'm in right now, I don't want to make any comments on it just for the sole reason of because of that lawsuit.
You should have talked because nothing is saving you from that lawsuit. You literally defamed Misgive. And what Emerald did, basically saying that it wasn't really essay, it was just her truth of essay, and the defamation that you land on Misgive, you're screwed. You and Emerald are screwed.
If it wasn't for that, I would have talked about it a lot.
So Asmon has this lawsuit with Miskiff. However, many people covered the trial's fallout, and it really doesn't prohibit him from talking about Tectone's case. There's no reason to include Miskiff in this.
Maybe all of my friends are just, problem boys, right? Because I have tons of friends that have like felonies and they've been in jail and everything. And so, I guess for me, it's not that big of a surprise. I don't really care or want to have anything to do with other people's drama. I just don't give a shit about it. Like, I don't.
I can't say that's true because like when Miskiff had his drama, you were all up in that business. Hypocrisy at its finest, man.
Want to talk about it, explain it.
Basically, Asmon just took the cop out. Tectone's lawsuit has nothing to do with Miskiff whatsoever, And in reality, it's just a bad look for him as someone who has been defending Tectone leading up to this point where he is then found civilly liable for SA.
This is a whore. Some people in the chat said don't call her whore. You know, she's...
This guy.
What do you mean? She's a whore?
The guy that facilitated kids to be partaking in adult content on Discord. This guy.
Whore. Tectone, you dated a whore. It didn't work out.
Nuxtaku is another creator who, after the court's decision, defended Tectone, obfuscated aspects of the case, and attacked Pink or Tectone.
You really see the level of friends that Tectone has, you know. It really is interesting.
Nux recently was exposed for having a minor in his Patreon Discord who was groomed with explicit adult material and walked through the best ways to do SH.
And there's his chat. You see, I never talk about something that's not true. Everything that I talk about is true.
Really no way to get around that this event happened as everything was archived. Nick Andros has a video on the topic and you should check it out. However, I just wanted to illustrate how these people work and how these absurd defenses go both.
And you know, the next thing is that Tectone will go out and bat for him, and then he will bat for Tectone. And that's a cycle. It's all a manipulative scheme of people that's trying to paint the narrative the way they want to paint it. And if the dumb audience is only consuming stuff from their side, they will never ever get the full truth.
Both ways. You scratch my grooming back, I'll scratch your rapist back.
Looked like Nuxtaku completely obliterated all of the allegations that were...
Bro, I cannot. Bro, I did not watch this video, okay? I did not watch this video in its entirety, but it ended up going out exactly what I said. Because as I said, I was saving it so long for React. I did not watch this.
Thrown his way in the matter of 5 minutes. So that was always really fun. I mean, the amount of people were like, you need to denounce Nux. You need to denounce Nux. I'm good, bro. I love Nux.
It's also worth noting this isn't the same as someone just ignoring a controversy, let's say. Some of these people are actually trying to obfuscate and dishonestly represent aspects of these stories in an attempt to benefit themselves and the person they are subverting for.
That's exactly what's happening. They're literally spinning the narrative. Fake news, as Trump would say it.
Think Before You Sleep, I would say, had the most insane video on the topic where every subject is missing a ton of context and it's all in service of attempting to help Tectone. The first 2 minutes, he just talks shit about Pink and calls her a catfish.
I mean, this is an insane amount of catfishing. I'm not even looking at the same person when I compare a live stream to a photo of her.
He does bring up the lip filler incident, but pretends there isn't medical documentation or Tectone talking about the incident on his stream several times.
Anyway, Pink Shoe said that she had just gotten lip filler, and Tectone had forced her into oral sex, which had ruined the lip filler. Geez, another plastic surgery related incident? Do all of her allegations have some sort of plastic surgery involved? Now,
that's a demeaning of women. That's good. I'm surprised this video is still up then, because that's something you should not be doing.
Is there any corroborating evidence that this happened? Not really.
You know what you can't do to women who have lip filler? You can't their mouth because it'll rupture the lip filler. You know, it's very delicate. Like with the lip injections, you can't throat them as hard as you want.
Just like a Wua High General that I faced off on recently. What they will do is whenever you provide evidence like this, they will say that I didn't say that, or straight up didn't see it, period, and then claim victory that they won. You can't argue with them because they're just gonna shift the goalpost and start talking about something else that was never the original point, while not admitting that yes, they were wrong.
Too, because then it'll fuck up their filler. So it's like they'll look really hot, but you can only go like 10% power on them. I'm like a very like hard f***er. You know what I mean? Like I go very hard.
TBYS throughout the video explains that he believes the protection order is actually a grand conspiracy by Hassan Piker and his lackeys.
What? That's a bit of a stretch. I haven't watched the video, but that's a bit of a stretch, man. Another thing I noticed is that these people have a massive hate boner of Hassan for some reason. I understand he says some controversial stuff. I'm not defending Hassan one bit, but like they always do that stuff. They just mention Hassan, and this situation had nothing to do with Hassan. How are we tying Hassan to this? It's between Tectone and Pink Shoe and nobody else, bro.
how this whole situation was a coordinated effort from multiple streamers to ruin his career. Hassan Piker has this ongoing war with Asmongold, probably because he's mad that Asmon is more famous than him. Hassan likes to sit back and have his little lackeys do all the dirty work for him. This is a famous tactic of his, and he primarily works by not directly saying that he has certain values.
Isn't that the exact same thing that Tectone is currently doing as of the now and before that and even after this video? Like, this is what you're literally saying what you guys do to attack people. That Tectone will send his yes man to attack the person instead of him attacking directly. So you literally guys are just ganging somebody. That may be a reference to another video too.
Values, but he will signal boost all the people who have the values that he wants to promote by watching their content on his stream. That being said, Tectone is friends with Asmongold. Hassan wants to attack Asmongold in any way that he can, so I think his lackeys came up with a plot to destroy Tectone. They do this a lot.
So what are we trying to do here? Well, with absolutely no evidence, TBYS wants to impress upon his viewers that if you think Tectone raped, think again, because this is actually a plot from Hassan Piker, who's pulling the strings in the background. It's so absurd to me that anyone would try to use Hassan Piker as a shield from being found liable in civil court for SA, someone who has literally nothing to do with this protection order between.
Exactly. He had nothing to do with it. How did they put these two strings together? I don't know.
Between these two people, and really it should be an insult to the intelligence of someone's fans to even try.
This channel should be named Think Before You Upload, because you can't be uploading things that, you know what, it is what it is.
Try to push something like this, but here we are. Tectone behind the scennes was sending streamers this video and told them it had been in the works for a long time.
And I know there might be some people thinking, oh my gosh, does Techless
This is the boy. This is Saint Tontus.
even want you to watch this? Yes, he asked me to watch this. So yes, he's told me this one has been in the works for a while. So yeah.
Going behind Pinkchu's back after the court case is finished to give documentations to Think Before You Sleep to make the video, which in turns breaks the protective order. Sharing content that is related to Pinkchu, which is against the protective order, to Saint Tontus, two other content creators to go and react to it. To Noxanor, I believe, as well. Talking to Noxanor, giving him information that is not available to the public about the case. You see how much times Tectone has broken the protective order? He should be in jail right now 3-4 times over.
That's one of the reasons why we're going to be watching.
So let's think about this. After receiving a 10-year protection order where the judge found reasonable grounds that Tectone had committed stalking and SA, he is now sending hit pieces against his ex-girlfriend to other streamers where they are pretty openly doxing her and not redacting any info. This is true in TBYS and Legal Mindset's case. It is a violation of the protective order to use a third party to harass a protected person. So if Tectone is facilitating this with other creators, he could be in some serious trouble before this is all said and done. But in both TBYS and Legal Mindset's case, I personally believe there is just more for them to gain in defending Tectone and trying to obfuscate certain aspects of the case we talked about today. Tectone co-created Mythic Talent. He has...
That's exactly what I believe too. I believe that, you know, the evidence is out there that can hold Tectone liable 100%. It's just for the court to get a hold of it and see what is going on actually in this space. I hope that they're probably investigating Tectone right now, because he definitely needs to be facing some repercussions for doing what he did multiple times so far.
Many different connections in the space and remains friends with creators like Asmongold. Being closer to those networks is obviously beneficial for people operating in that ecosystem. This case is not your typical run-of-the-mill accusations online case. We have medical records proving there were injuries sustained during the alleged act, with numerous references to the...
Yes, the vibe check, by him trying to say that is the vibe check when there's a ton of evidence that made Pinkchu won.
Incident by the accused. This makes it all the more depraved to me that people are so willing to just obfuscate details of a rape case in order to get ahead online.
I don't know if you've been dealing with Tectone for a while, as long as I have, probably before, maybe I'm not sure. But yeah, it has been a while that Tectone has been like this, where they will just lie. They will just present the news that they're a neutral supporter, while their news being not very neutral, period. It's just obvious that they're on one side. Some do it better than others in terms of covering it up, but some the bias definitely shines through that these people are biased towards whoever they're defending.
It's about as slimy as it gets, really. Tectone, of course, utilizing these people to attack his ex-girlfriend,
See, Nux,
who now has a protection order, really goes to show the pattern of behavior and only reinforces some of the reasons the protection order was granted in the first place. Both
Amen.
Tectone's ex-wife and ex-girlfriend have accused him of SA. In my first
And soon, the future wife Sophia will also do that as well.
video, I laid out a timeline and multiple examples of Tectone lying to show why viewers should be more open-minded about what may have happened with his partners. Now we also have medical records documenting bodily harm and Tectone himself admitting on camera that the injury occurred during a sexual act. That kind of documented injury can function as an aggravating factor and strengthen a finding of liability. There are only so many occurrences that can happen before giving someone the benefit of the doubt becomes untenable. So it's not just my personal opinion that Tectone did these things, but given the repeating pattern with his ex-wife and ex-girlfriend, I fully
This is the person that was a sideline between both the wife, the ex-wife, and the ex-girlfriend, which is Freem and Ping Chu respectfully. And let's see what he said. It's pretty damning that two women I was very close to told me the same exact story about the same man without having ever spoken to one another. To the last detail, go back years before they even knew the woman existed. The same gaslighting, narcissistic, manipulative cycle of abuse, and it will continue with Sophia. I can guarantee it.
expect this type of behavior from him to continue. Given how Tectone has handled losing his case and coordinating with other creators to attack Pink using third parties, it would not surprise me in the slightest if there is further and greater fallout from all this. We'll just have to wait and see what the future holds. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Thank you. It has been a very entertaining watch, very long watch indeed. Absolutely. I actually learned something new today. Really, it's something that I didn't really know. I didn't know that it was more than one time that Tectone mentioned. I don't remember what was it. You guys remember from the video exactly what I'm talking about, but it caught me off guard. I think it was just the one time he mentioned it, but it was multiple times, which is insane. The things that he claimed were very insane. The certain switch up that all of a sudden he's now schizophrenia free and stuff like that. It's really insane. And I have to thank you guys for watching through this video with me. I hope you enjoy. I know I haven't been doing a lot of longer terms reaction videos and stuff like that. That's because I've been so busy. But I will try to do some more reaction and stuff like that. And I also have been like doing some gacha game storytelling and stuff like that, so I can get back up to speed on my stories from my Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenithzone Zero respectfully. I don't like that Zenithzone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, every single story is like 7 hours long. I really don't like that because I don't have 7 hours to get back and catch up in the story so fast, man. Come on, man. You're really doing me no good favors here, Honkai Star Rail. I would love them to shorten down the story a little bit more and understand that, we are playing multiple games here. We're not just playing one games. And we have a life outside of gacha to like work and stuff like that. It's not like Tectone's community and Sentoto's community that doesn't work. They help all day to sit down and watch what their enemies are doing and watch his ex-girlfriend and stuff like that. But I will see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoy.